Talkline Communications Network proudly presents its flagship program, Talkline, America's #1. The Talkline Communications Network proudly presents its flagship program, Talkline, America's #1 Jewish program, the pulse beat of the Jewish community, with Zev Brenner. And now, your host, Zev Brenner.
And welcome to another edition of Talkline. I'm Zev Brenner, coming to you over WMCA 570 AM, Al Gordon 1640 AM in Highland Park in Edison, New Jersey. Online anytime, TalklineCommunications.com, powered by the JNet, and our 24-hour day listen line, 212-419-4240, extension number 1. If you have an iPhone, please check out Jewish Radio app, and you can tune in Talkline with Zev Brenner on your BlackBerry, any devices. Tune in from anywhere. And tonight, in a few minutes, we'll be looking at Facebook, at the Beit Rivka School's ban on Facebook. We'll be speaking to the principal, Shana Teichel, of that school. And we have some students live in our studios, Hana Mushka Levsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaya Mushka Bar Chaim, students in the school who support the school's ban on Facebook. We'll hear about that later on. We'll hear also from David Teitelbaum, the son of noted Rabbi Yael Teitelbaum of blessed memory, David, director of Camp Stay Chaim International, and he supports that children should be on Facebook. So we'll find out what that's all about. That's all upcoming during our very special broadcast. You don't want to miss that tonight. And we'll also hear from Leon Goldenberg regarding some Raoul Wallenberg commemoration moments during our very, very special broadcast. So you want to make sure you stay tuned. And just a comment, people have been calling us about our Thursday night broadcast, about 16 handles on Avenue J in Brooklyn. And though if you heard the show, Avery Melman, who called in, we thank you, Avery, for some good points and some really things that had to be discussed. And a shout out to Avery's parents, so good listeners to the broadcast, Rabbi Daniel and Mimi Melman of the Little Beach Synagogue. And Rabbi Melman also has done a lot to speak out on these issues, and we'll have him on one on a future broadcast dealing with some, I think, issues had to do with education and children. And the issue that we brought up on Thursday night was, should a hangout be existing where people can socialize or not? Should it be under kosher auspices? These are things that were addressed on our broadcast. You can go online to TalklineCommunications.com and check it out, our spirited discussion. And kudos also to the Little Beach Synagogue on their upcoming dinner later today, and wonderful, wonderful shul. Let me, before we break, Rabbi Chaim Alevsky, he's the one that implanted the idea about doing this Facebook discussion tonight and bringing members of Beit Rivka, so he's live in our studios too. Rabbi Chaim Alevsky with the Chabad of the West Side, thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting together our special broadcast tonight.
It's great to be here again.
Good to have you.
Actually, I just think it's a great opportunity for young people, these girls who have been exposed to, or actually the world has been exposed to a lot of hummel about this issue, and I thought it would be best to hear it straight from their own mouths, from the girls in Beit Rivka, hear what happened, hear what their take is on the story, and I think it's always good to go straight to the source and not,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to have the discussion, and these are important issues that are raised. It's not just Facebook, it's how to deal with the digital challenges, how to deal with the society around us, and how do we deal with it? Do we just close our eyes? Do we find a way to filter the outside world in? How do we protect our children? How do we protect ourselves? There's certain challenges with Facebook, Internet, all these digital things that weren't existing, the iPads, iPods, right, the whole work. So
Absolutely.
We'll look at that tonight. So thank you for...
Great. I'm sorry, they're all connected.
Everybody, what? Did you want to sing? I know usually when Rav Chaim Alevsky comes, he sings Hamavdil, Hamavdil, right? Or is that with the guitar only?
Yeah, you know what? Tonight it's not going to work. Sphera is in the way, but I thought now.
Dvatar.
I thought, you know what? Actually, just regarding the whole technology bit of, obviously, we're probably going to hear this later, but the Lubavitcher Rebbe's take on technology and everything in this world is that everything was created for a purpose, and the purpose is to serve God and to serve Hashem and as long as it's utilized with a proper in the proper way, then it is a good thing. So technology, as a rule, just to lay down the foundation, is a part of energy and a part of tool, and it can be used to serve Hashem, and that's the purpose. That's its purpose. So Facebook also, I'm sure, has its place, and everything in this world has its time and place. We just have to really clarify what the time and place is for everything. Anyway, I had a thought that I heard, a beautiful thought about this past week's Parsha. So if I can't sing, I'll just say a thought. And it's a fascinating thought. In this week's Parsha, we have Nadav and Avihu who passed away, and the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, he calls it, their passing was called the Misas Nishikin. So in English, it's called the Kiss of Death. And, interesting name, the Kiss of Death. So the question is, really, Nadav and Avihu were great people. They were the greatest of the great, Aaron's sons. And why did they deserve to die? So everyone knows, and the Torah talks about how they offered a foreign fire. But what does that mean for us? And Or HaChaim HaKadosh explains. And
don't tell me it's Facebook.
Foreign fire. Well, not necessarily. It may be related somehow. But the point is that the foreign fire in traditional and Hasidic explanation is that the sons of Aaron, they were so engulfed in this incredible revelation of Hashem during the chinuch of the Mishkan, during the inauguration of the temple, of the tabernacle, that they wanted to be included in that spiritual reality. They wanted to, and they became so engulfed in that experience that they were so inspired that they expired, and they allowed themselves to expire. They wanted to expire from inspiration. And what was the problem with that? Why is that called a sin? So in a nutshell, Chassidus says that our point really is to take inspiration that we have and not expire and disconnect from this world, but actually to bring it down into our day-to-day life. In Hasidic terminology, it's called ratzo and shuv. There's ratzo means going towards Hashem, shuv means returning back with that energy. Everyone knows the famous 4 Arba Nichnas U'Lepardes, and Rabbi Akiva was the only one who came out in peace because he went in to delve into the secrets of the Torah with the proper intentions that I'm going to take that inspiration and bring it down into my day-to-day life. So that kiss of death is really a misas tzaddikim. All the tzaddikim, the Or HaChaim says, are taken with that kiss of death. So, and essentially it's a good thing. But what the problem with Nadav and Avihu's kiss of death was that they initiated the kiss of death, and they tried to be included in Klois HaNefesh, into the spiritual world, but it can't be initiated by man. If it comes through Hashem, then they need the tzaddikim allow themselves to be kissed by Hashem and their soul to be taken. But it shouldn't go the other way around. We're meant to be right here in this world, in this Olam Hazeh Hagashmi, in this physical world, and elevate it and make it a place where Hashem's presence should be felt, and that's, in a nutshell, that's Mashiach. So, Mashiach now.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful word. And as we close, I'll just give you a radical approach, and because we're going to go to the broadcast, is that Nadav and Avihu, because if you look at the commentators, at different reasons, they were single, they were not married, they were intoxicated, they were more halacha, they gave a rabbinical ruling in front of the rabbis. You look at all the reasons why they were given
6 reasons the Rabbeinu B'chaya brings down.
All these things, so they all don't seem to warrant a death penalty, but the opinion that I like and brought down Yitzchak Meir Goodman is that Nadav Avihu, similar to the Mikoshesh Eitzim, the woodchopper who got the death penalty for Hashem, they did it purposely. In other words, the woodchopper did it because he wanted to establish a precedent how important the sanctity of Shabbos. If you violate, these are the consequences. Nadav and Avihu wanted to establish because they were under the impression that something was going to happen on the consecration, that there were going to people die. They thought it was going to be Moshe and Aaron, and that was one of the reasons that they said that they're going to die, and they should die. We're going to be the leaders. So they thought that God was going to punish or was going to have Moshe and Aaron's life taken away to sanctify this new day. They didn't want them to be. They didn't want to be the leaders. They wanted Moshe and Aaron to continue. So therefore, they went through this whole process. And one of the reasons they went into the Holy of Holies, they did this whole process and they drank in order to give themselves the strength to go. And they did this to establish that principle, even though they were mistaken, because God didn't require a sacrifice of humans to have this sanctification of the Mishkan, of the tabernacle. But this is what they did to establish it, which gives you a whole radical different approach to Nadav Avihu. So just want to show.
Great.
Anyway, thank you for being with us, Rav Chaim Molesky.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yahoo.
When we come back, our face-off regarding Facebook. And we'll be speaking to the principal of Beis Rivka School in Brooklyn, Shana Teichtel, Chana Mushka-Levsky, Mushka Balkomilsky, and Chaya Mushka Bar Chaim will be live in our studios, and then we'll hear from David Teitelbaum. All this and more. Don't go away. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Talkline Communications Network.
Hi, this is Sam Haskell, Executive Vice President of HMS Associates. For over 13 years, we've been servicing the community doing appraisals and real estate evaluations. If you are a buyer, you shouldn't purchase a property before getting an independent appraisal. Sellers have to make sure that they are not under or overselling. If you're doing estate planning, preparing your estate taxes with real estate involved, you must have a professional appraisal. Nonprofits can't sell their property unless they have a professional assessment for the Attorney General's office. If you're going through a divorce or if you feel your real estate taxes are too high, then call me for a free consultation. I advise and work with lawyers, bankers, and accountants, as well as private individuals. Anytime you need an appraisal, please call me, as I'm happy to answer all your questions. Don't do anything until you call me at 855-HMS-PLUS for a free consultation. That's 855-HMS-PLUS. Also online at hmsappraisals.com.
Meet me at Meet Me for a delicious upscale fine dining experience at 726 Amsterdam Avenue between 95th and 96th Streets on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Meet Me is a delicious French-American glatt kosher steakhouse and sushi bar, serving a wide variety of the finest selections of meat from a master butcher. Meet Me offers the highest level of gourmet pleasure, blending French-American and Asian food under one roof. Meet Me features delicate soups and salads, appetizers, fish, steak, bison, beef, hamburgers, and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Cater your next event at Meet Me. Private parties are available in the back room for Friday night dinner with a minimum of 20 people. For a delicate French steakhouse and sushi bar that's strictly kosher under the Vada Rabbanim of Queens, call 212-678-7000. That's 212-678-7000. Or visit them online at meetmeny.com. That's MEAT, me.ny.com. Meet Me at Meet Me at 726 Amsterdam Avenue between 95th and 96th Streets on the Upper West Side of Manhattan for a delicious dining experience.
Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Building a new house? Thinking of renovating but don't think you can afford to? Well, now there's a solution. At Stone and Bath Gallery, located at 39th Street between 8th and 9th Avenues, quality is not compromised by price. Stone and Bath Gallery is Brooklyn's largest showroom with over 5,000 square feet, featuring plumbing fixtures, including a tremendous selection of brand-name kitchen and bathroom faucets, sinks, vanities, toilets, bathtub, jacuzzis, tub and shower sets, and more. And when it comes to tiles for indoors or outdoors, they have hundreds of the latest styles and designs, including the largest selection of Italian and Spanish tiles in mosaic tiles made from marble, onyx, granite, glass, stainless steel, and more. They also import their own custom designs that you won't find anywhere else.
As we continue to commemorate the centennial of Raoul
courteous staff
Wallenberg this
will
year,
also
we
professional
focus on his
designers
heroism
and interior
and the 100,000
decorators
lives that he
floor
saved
you
with us
with
tonight
their
for a
expert advice,
special
letting you
segment
take
in tribute
advantage of
during
their
this river
low,
period with the bulk of
unbeatable
Hungarian
prices.
Jewry was
Stone and Bath
transferred to
Gallery
Austria.
is centrally located on 39th Street between 8th and 9th Avenues in Brooklyn, with plenty of free customer parking right in front of the store. Please call them 718-438-4500. That's 718-438-4500. For commercial and residential where quality and affordable prices are important, the choice is clear. Stone and Bath Gallery, worth a trip from anywhere. Located at 856 39th Street, they're open Sunday for your convenience from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
The events in Toulouse, France, are a fresh reminder that we are witnessing efforts to dehumanize the Jewish people. The appeasement and funding of entities which promote the hatred of others must be stopped. We must not remain silent. The silence of 6 million Kedoshim cries out to us. A Yom HaShoah vigil will be held this Sunday, April 22nd, 12 noon, in front of the Iranian mission to the UN at 622 3rd Avenue and East 40th Street. One day your children will ask, what did you do to stop the Iranian madness? Be there on Sunday, April 22nd, 12 noon, in front of the Iranian mission to the UN at 622 3rd Avenue and East 40th Street in Manhattan. Be there, rain or shine.
Are you a business owner? Do you have employees? Do you sell merchandise? If, say, 48% of your merchandise was stolen every year, would it hurt your business? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you must call CISA Security. They can help. They will visit your facility and do a full security analysis. CISA Security installs and maintains electronic security surveillance camera systems to help you track employee performance, eliminate theft, and protect your sensitive data. They also will automate your facility, home, or office so you can save on electricity and heating, and best of all, you get to control it all on the web or on your mobile phone. So what are you waiting for? For a free analysis, call 1-855-FEEL-SECURE. That's 1-855-FEEL-SECURE. Feel secure with CISA Security. As we continue to commemorate the centennial of Raoul Wallenberg this year, we focus on his heroism and the 100,000 lives that he saved with us tonight for a special segment in tribute during the Sfira period when the bulk of Hungarian Jewry was transported to Auschwitz until Wallenberg arrived in Budapest on July 8th. Is Leon Goldenberg, who is a founding member of the board of Raoul Wallenberg Centennial Celebration Commission, headed by the Friedlander Group and Ezra Friedlander, that he spearheaded an effort to award Raoul Wallenberg with a Congressional Gold Medal. Shua Tov, Leon. Please tell our audience what Raoul... Good luck. Thank you for joining us. Please tell us what Raoul Wallenberg should mean to us during this time period when the community begins to observe the Hungarian Yahrzeits.
Well, for me personally, this is the time that my mother was taken away and her entire family, and that I lost my grandmother, my aunts, uncles. They were actually taken. They arrived at Auschwitz on the second day of Yom Tif, but they were taken to the ghettos at this time. They were in a town called Salish, where they spent several months. But this is when they were destroyed, and this is when we remember that had there been more Raoul Wallenbergs around, that more members of our families would be alive today, instead of the utter destruction that we saw in most parts. And that Raoul Wallenberg, while he was in Budapest, saved, it's hard to say, exactly how many he saved, but he was writing out those passes left and right. Anybody came to him got those passes, including many members of my wife's family. My own family did not live in Budapest, and therefore did not survive, and therefore they actually did go to the gas chambers and died other deaths in the concentration camps. So I think it's important for us to remember at this time, and I, as a personal anecdote, I will be speaking Wednesday at the Hillel School in Passaic, New Jersey. I have a very special connection there. I have a granddaughter, Ricky Grossman, that attends the school, but it's critically important that the next generation does not forget. They're a little further removed. My grandchildren are definitely further removed. They have met Holocaust survivors, and it is incumbent on all the children, when they get old enough to recognize it, to talk to the few Holocaust survivors that are still around and still alive. And we shouldn't forget what specific people did when the opportunity presented themselves. Individuals like Raoul Wallenberg, who stood up and made the difference to save so many thousands upon thousands of lives. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Thank you, Leon Goldenberg. Thank you for joining us. And next week, stay tuned for the segment, which will appear every Saturday night, brought to you by the Raoul Wallenberg Centennial Celebration Commission. Okay, we are back, and we have live in our studios a whole contingent from Beis Rivka, seniors in 12th grade, and we'll get to them in just a moment as we have our conversation also. Our exclusive interview with Shana Tachtel, the principal of Beis Rivka School. This is the first time speaking out publicly regarding the school's ban on Facebook for its students. So, good vach, everyone. Good vach, Mrs. Tachtel. Thank you for joining us.
Shavua Tov to you, and thank you for having us on your show.
Our pleasure. So tell us, how did the whole ban on Facebook take place? Because you know it went viral on the Internet once the ban was in effect and it was reported, but how did it all happen? What happened? What transpired?
Actually, this was not a very new occurrence. About 2 years ago, after much discussion and analysis, the educational and whole of the school decided to be correct and an appropriate educational decision that our students shouldn't be distracted by the Facebook, and therefore we reached this conclusion and discussing with parents, with specialists and professionals in this field. And the conclusion was that we strongly discourage the usage of Facebook, and we discussed it with the girls. We had different speakers come and speak about it during the course of the years. And this is basically nothing new. It's just something which is part of our school philosophy, as we engender to give our students every possible opportunity beyond academic success to have opportunities for personal growth.
Because, so let me get this, understand this straight, because some schools ban not just Facebook, but they ban all Internet connections. In the Beis Rivka school, it's Facebook that's banned, but what about the use of the Internet in general? What is your policy?
I don't actually prefer the term banned. I would say that in our school we know the Internet is a communication tool very widely used today. Our objective is that students should use it in a safe and responsible manner. Therefore, we do have discussions about safe use, responsible use. As far as Facebook was concerned, this was one aspect which we felt was distracting, had no actual positive objective at this point in their lives. And so these 4 years when they're in high school, we try to focus on everything positive, which will not distract them from their educational goals, community goals, and personal growth goals.
So my question to you is, why Facebook as opposed to other communications? Why is that singled out?
Very simply, Facebook is actually a type of social site which becomes extremely overwhelming and enveloping every aspect of a person's life and daily life. For example, a young lady might be taking a certain action or doing a certain activity and thinking, oh, I must rush home to post it on Facebook. Wherever she may be, if she has a mobile phone that has an Internet connection, oh, what's the latest status of my friend? It causes negative social interaction, sometimes to the point of, I would not use the word jealousy, but a little bit discomfort out of one's comfort zone. How many friends does my friend have? How many friends do I have? And in order to avoid it becoming such a major focus in life, we asked our students and parents, after having meetings and discussing it with parents, not to go on it in their free time.
But why not teach, just like you teach them how to use the Internet properly, why not teach them how to use Facebook properly? They shouldn't be bothered by if they don't get too many likes or not as social or as popular as other people. Shouldn't that be part of the educational process?
The Internet has many valuable results in the usage as well. The Internet is a communication tool. It can be an educational tool as well. At this point in these vulnerable years of 14 to 18, Facebook doesn't even have that much of a positive effect. There's really no reason why one has to be on Facebook. There may be many times later on in life where there is a reason. In addition, whatever you do on Facebook is forever. It is something you post a picture impulsively, and your friends can spread it to other friends and pass it on and pass it on.
But that's true of other
websites. You really have no control where it goes.
That's true of other websites as well. It doesn't have to be Facebook. It could be Flickr. It could be whatever it is.
Therefore, the reason we chose Facebook as an example is because that was the most predominant in our community. Possibly, our goal is to engender all responsible use of any social sites. But what was prevalent, and I think is, as we have reported many news outlets, what is prevalent among teenagers is a social site today. The most prevalent one is Facebook, and that's why we mentioned that particular one.
Here's an email question for you. Read Facebook. I'd like to get in touch with its principals. I'm working on a from Facebook, whereas the school will have her registration numbers, and we'll give each student a number so that she alone can register onto the new Facebook. Only students having registration numbers will be able to get onto this new Facebook. Your thoughts about that?
Sounds like an interesting concept. If it could be limited, only in the sense of not making it a major priority in one's life, and if it could be limited and private, maybe every avenue can be explored. Everything is open to discussion. But the way Facebook is at this point, and the kind of results that it leads to in the sense of taking one away from their educational priorities, community priorities, and personal growth, I don't think it's something advisable for a teenager in Beis Rivka. This was an internal school educational policy. It's not our intention to make it a public affair. It became a public affair.
Is it a tznius issue, a modesty issue?
Not my point of view. That was not what we took into consideration.
That's how the media, I think, portrayed it, though. A modesty issue.
The media may choose to portray it many different ways. We have no control over the media. The media never spoke to me. I think you are the first or second person to ever approach me directly. And since this was made by the educational administration of the school, it sort of made a lot of sense to ask what our motivation was.
Now, we're going to have on in a little while David Teitelbaum, the son of Rabbi Eli Teitelbaum, director of Camp Stain Chemed International. His position is that teenagers should use Facebook, and I'm going to read a quote from an article in Vass's Nice. We can keep trying to shelter our kids more and more until we suffocate them, or we can choose to teach them how to live as a frum Jew in the new millennium. It takes work and dedication to find real solutions, but if we don't, we might as well start preparing for the second convention in 5 years, where I'm sure a new updated filter will be announced. So he's talking about a convention that's coming up about the filtering and using that. But in general,
interestingly enough, I happen to agree with him on many of the factors that he didn't point out. I do believe we have to encourage responsible usage. We have to teach our students to have the proper tools to use the new communication means in an effective and responsible way. I don't believe that Facebook is essential for communication or education, whereas other Internet aspects may be.
Let me bring on some of the students that are here. They all want to talk to you. They were excited that you're on the broadcast.
I'm actually in Nashville, Tennessee. Our son and daughter-in-law are opening a new Chabad center, dedicating it tomorrow. But I really do appreciate the opportunity if you're reaching me wherever I am.
Good, thank you. And I just want to say hello, Chana Mushka Levsky. Welcome you, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaim Mushka Bar Chaim. Thank you for that. You all support the principals in the schools ban on Facebook, correct?
Hi. Yes.
Okay. Now,
I just may add, if you permit me, that I have 500 most amazing students. And I'm privileged to be their principal, and I'm really happy that they have an opportunity to express their opinion on your show.
No, we appreciate it. But even though, to be fair, though, there are some students that were quoted in the media that were not happy with the ban, correct?
I'm sure. One does not make educational decisions based on popularity. One makes them based on what is appropriate and what is correct and what is right.
Now, how do you enforce the ban? Do you go on Facebook to see if they're on there? What do you do?
We're not a detective agency, and we don't have people going on Facebook checking it out. When we become aware of certain situations, and at this particular time, because there were certain lapses, we did just simply do a very superficial kind of overview and search, and that was basically it.
So, and did you expect to react? First of all, how to get on the Internet? Then you became viral that you're banned.
That is the question of the day.
So was it a student? Was it, who do you think?
I don't like to speculate, and I'd like to stick to facts. Factually, I have no idea.
Now, what was your reaction? Did you anticipate such a viral response where everybody was talking about you were the subject of discussions in countless secular media and Jewish media outlets throughout the country and beyond?
I definitely did not anticipate. I was that weekend in Germany to see Der Spiegel with headlines about Facebook. On the other hand, it was actually very interesting to receive many emails of support from various sectors of society, non-Jewish schools, a boarding school in England, that, we agree with you and we think you did the right thing. That was not our intention. This was an internal school decision. And we were very shocked and surprised by all this media focus, and we were disappointed that the media not necessarily reflected all the correct facts. But that's the way it was. So, any other questions? If not, I'll just hang up because we're quite busy here getting ready for dictation tomorrow.
Just one more question. I was curious because it's a balancing act. Because on one hand, you're allowing the Internet, but you're not allowing Facebook. What about other media? What about television? What about Twitter, which is also popular? What about that? What's the school's position?
We view our role in chinuch as a 24/7 kind of approach, and definitely we try to encourage our students to be engaged in positive activities. It's not a matter of constantly saying no. It's a matter of teaching educating, instilling the right approach and the right attitude. Therefore, we happen to focus in this area on one specific major social site. As a whole, we have many discussions. We believe in having our students ask questions. We try to answer their questions. All these gray areas. It would be so much simpler just to be black and white. Say, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. Chabad lives in this world. We try to bring our approach of holiness and sanctity into this world. We don't isolate ourselves in an attic someplace. So consequently, you're 100% right. It is a balancing act. It is not an easy thing to do, but we try to do our best and in order to gain and attain our objectives.
Now, some Yeshiva, I asked you about television, have it been on TV. I'm curious to know what the position of your school is of that, or having cell phones, Blackberries, iPhones.
The Lubavitcher Rebbe, before it was even popular, talked about it's not appropriate to have a TV in the home, yet has always used technology to further and spread Yiddishkeit and Torah. Going back to the 60s and 70s, there were bring-ins were on cable TV. Yet at the same time, we were encouraged not to have TVs in our home. So it always has been a balancing act. Cell phones can be used in an appropriate way. Cell phones can be used in an inappropriate way. Once again, we try to teach our students what is right, what is wrong about texting. Our social workers spend time talking to individuals, to parents, and to groups, how to use texting in the right way, and how texting can sometimes not be used in an appropriate manner. So education and chinuch is always a balancing act, and that's what really our goal is, to be able to raise young ladies who can live in this world, yet make decisions based on the right moral values.
Mrs. Shana Tachtel, principal of Beis Rivka Schools in Brooklyn, thank you for being on our broadcast. Thank you for this the first outlet that you're speaking out. We appreciate you being with us, and we're going to hear from your students when we come back.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Good.
And all the best. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov to you. Thank you.
Bye.
And when we come back, we're going to be speaking to some of the students from Beis Rivka School about how they feel about the Facebook ban and how it impacts their lives and their friends. Chana Mushka Levsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaya Mushka Bar Chaim, live in our studio. Seniors at Beit Rivka. We'll also hear from David Teitelbaum, who thinks Facebook is a good thing for kids, Jewish kids, to be involved with. So we'll hear about that, all this and more. Don't go away.
Elegant Cleaners is a full-service French dry cleaners with two great locations to serve you. In Borough Park at 15th Avenue and 44th Street, and in Flatbush at 1579 Coney Island Avenue between Avenues L and M. Elegant Cleaners is the only Shomer Shabbos cleaners that launder shirts, tablecloths, and linens on premises. Elegant Cleaners offers same-day service and is open Monday to Thursday between 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Fridays 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Sundays 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So drop off all your dry cleaning, shirts, tablecloths, and linens to Elegant Cleaners at 15th Avenue and 44th Street or 1579 Coney Island Avenue between Avenues L and M in Flatbush. To schedule a pickup in Borough Park, please call 718-853-1111. That's 718-853-1111. In Flatbush, you can schedule a pickup by calling 718-377-8531. That's 718-377-8531. Elegant Cleaners, a full-service French cleaners to service you.
One of my kids' favorite places to shop is Talking Fashion at 1381 Coney Island Avenue between Avenues J and K in Brooklyn. Great for teenagers, great for the women. They have wonderful selection, great prices. And now in stock they have Joe's denim skirts in a bunch of colors. They just got blue for the second time, and they also have beige, black, white denim, and getting in red this coming week. And while you're there, make sure that you check out their hardtail collection and the selection of Dita tops from Italy. They have everything you need that's fashionable at fantastic prices. Again, that's 1381 Coney Island Avenue between Avenues J and K in Brooklyn. So if you're talking savings, you have to talk Talking Fashions, where they have incredible savings on Nicole Miller, French Connection, Lauren de Bianca, Quadro, many other designers. So if you're looking to be fashionable And also to be talking great prices, Talking Fashion is the place to go. 1381 Coney Island Avenue. Their phone number is 718-253-9825. 718-253-9825. Talking Fashion. Go in today. Esti Hana, the Upper West Side's premier glatt kosher Asian and sushi restaurant at 221 West 79th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam, is now celebrating its 15th anniversary. For 15 years, customers have been raving about their exquisite and delicious top-rated cuisine that gets an A rating not just from the health department, but from satisfied patrons in Manhattan and beyond. To celebrate, take 15% off on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Saturday nights. Listen to some of their other incredible offerings. Lunch Monday through Friday is only $15.95 and includes wonton soup, egg roll, and main dish with rice. Or you can try the Japanese bento box lunch special, which includes miso soup, salad, and sushi regular combo for only $18.95. Take advantage of Esti Hana's early bird special Monday through Thursday from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. 3-course meal, which consists of soup of the day, sushi, appetizer, and entree of your choice, is only $24.50. Esti Hana is also open Motzei Shabbos till 1 a.m., and they have an extensive beer and wine menu as well. I've been going there for years. They're a terrific restaurant. Esti Hana is at 221 West 79th Street in Manhattan. When in Brooklyn, come into their Flatbush location at 1217 Avenue J in Teaneck. Try their brand new sister restaurant, Heiko Tapas Fusion Steakhouse and Sushi at 515 Cedar Lane. That's in Teaneck. For more information, have Esti Hana cater your next Simcha or special event. Call them 212-501-0393. 212-501-0393. Esti Hana.
The events in Toulouse, France, are a fresh reminder that we are witnessing efforts to dehumanize the Jewish people. The appeasement and funding of entities which promote the hatred of others must be stopped. We must not remain silent. The silence of 6 million Kedoshim cries out to us. A Yom HaShoah vigil will be held this Sunday, April 22nd, 12 noon, in front of the Iranian mission to the UN at 622 3rd Avenue and East 40th Street. One day your children will ask, what did you do to stop the Iranian madness? Be there on Sunday, April 22nd, 12 noon, in front of the Iranian mission to the UN at 622 3rd Avenue and East 40th Street in Manhattan. Be there, rain or shine.
And before we get to our guests, I think we're going to hear the latest news from Jerusalem. Dov Shurin standing by with the latest news. So good morning to you, Dov.
Hey, good morning to you. Good morning to everybody from the house. I'm speaking to you from the house right behind. Oh, yeah. I'm watching the house, that nobody enter the house. It's a struggle that's going to come to court this coming Monday. Basically, Evelyn Hayes, you should not much have her on the program, is a woman that bought this house, and because of certain laws and everything else, she wasn't listed as the owner, and it caused people to try to attempt to take the house away from her. And in steps your own Dov Shurin as a one-man show again to relock the doors and keep everybody out. And I was even here for Shabbos. I was the only one here by Keva Rachel. It was a great davening experience. Let's go to the Gutnick Chumash, which I had with me over here. I take it with me for sure, and everybody should have the Gutnick Chumash. It's an amazing Chumash which has an English translation which incorporates Rashi, many classical Pirushim, and Torah's Menachem from the Lubavitch Rebbe. And I went back to you. We're ahead of you already. We're in Tazria, Mitzorah, but you're still in Shmini, as I understand. So I saw a beautiful vart from the Rebbe here. There's even diagrams of split hoofs. And the Rebbe explains that an animal that's kosher has split hoofs and chews its cud, and it's a remiss to the outward is the split hoofs that a person, it should be obvious to people around him when he's on a mitzvah mission that he's ready, he's always ready to move. He's has double feet to accomplish what he wants to accomplish, and the chewing the cud is a hint that a person should never be satisfied with his insides. He should always be trying to improve himself more and more. And then the Rebbe says something very interesting. The pig has split hoofs. The pig is not kosher, but it doesn't chew its cud. But in the time of Mashiach, he says the pig is going to be kosher, so I'm looking forward to a nice ham sandwich for Mashiach.
Don't get a head start, though.
Anyway, it's explained over here much better, of course. I'm not going to try to step in and explain the whole thing, but let me just explain that the Good Chumash, the 5 volumes of the synagogue edition, is a must for every Jewish home. Get it at your local Tzedekah store on the web at kolmenachem.com or call 1-888-580-1900. Let's go to the latest news, sponsored by Quality Carpet and Flooring. They're ready for a new week at Quality with color. Many different carpets to choose from. Put a little color into your spring and into your summer with new carpeting from Quality with a 20 cruising truck to complete the job. If you go to the Catskills, check it out. They may be able to do that for you up in the Catskills too, add carpeting or flooring for you. Quality is the king of carpeting. Call them at 718-941-4200, 214 Ditmas Avenue. We're also sponsored by Traveler's Choice. Even tonight, he's very, very busy making quick arrangements for Olabaya and Eretz Yisrael, and he does things like that. He can take care of instant needs, especially your needs for Lag BaOmer, people coming for Lag BaOmer. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Miron. I hope we can get out of the house here and go to Miron, as they do every year. And Traveler's Choice, maybe we'll arrange a helicopter for me to get over from here to there. But in any case, for all your travel needs, Asia, Africa, the Far East, and of course Eretz Yisrael, Yassin and Deborah and their amazing staff at 39 Broadway in the heart of the Wall Street District. Call them at 212-868-8698, 212-868-8698, and then the number one name in kosher vitamins, Zalus vitamins, with a tremendous selection of vitamins available now in all your local drug and health food stores in the listening area with specialty items, high factor for children that are not growing fast enough, masterminds for people that are in instability and mood changes. They have all kinds of great vitamins. Your family deserves the best when it comes to health. When it comes to vitamins, the best is Zallers. And finally, my cousin Yitzchak Kamenetsky, who's a mortgage banker. If you need a loan, he's the address to go to. Don't go to the broker. Go directly to the banker. Yitzchak Kamenetsky. Call him at 1-800-LOAN, LOAN 750. 1-800-LOAN, LOAN 750. So as we start the week, the big controversy here is the court order to pull the people out of Beth-El. Ulpanah, it's called, the neighborhood of Beth-El, that people have been living for years, and now they're saying that it's privately owned Arab land, it's an illegal settlement. Ehud Barak, the defense minister, people are accusing him of his own political agenda and insisting on taking the people out of there. Netanyahu is looking for ways to go around the wall, whatever, according to the court ruling, and save this area of Beth-El. And even Boogie Ayalon lashed out at Ehud Barak for what he's trying to do. And we'll have to see how this thing unwinds during the week. I'll report to you about that. And finally, they stopped the terrorist attack at a support junction. They caught 2 Arabs with pipe bombs and other paraphernalia to do a terrorist attack. And thank God that was stopped. So that's the latest news out of Israel. Kind of chilly, but nice weather coming this week here in Israel.
Okay, thank you, Dov. Shavua Tov. Dov Shurin in our Israel Bureau and live in our studios here in New York City. We have 12th graders at the Beit Rivka School of Brooklyn, Chana Mushka Levsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaya Mushka Bar Chaim, live in our studios. And I want to welcome all of you. Good vach. And how do you feel about the ban of Facebook? First of all, did anybody use Facebook prior to the ban of the school?
Yeah, hi, this is Mushka. Yeah, I did use Facebook. I had an account for the past 3 years, and I actually deactivated it when the rule came out.
Did you feel comfortable? Do you miss Facebook? What was your reaction when you said you had to deactivate?
The truth is, Mushka was actually with me. I was really upset. I mean, obviously, I'm a teenager. I like using Facebook, and I, enjoyed it, But at the same time, I do understand where the school is coming from. I knew that I was lucky enough to get away with having an account for as long as I did.
When did you give it up?
I gave it up, actually, a week ago.
So even after the ban was in effect, you still had it for a while?
Well, we didn't have school. We had vacation, so the day before I got back to school.
Well, when did the ban officially take effect?
The day before vacation.
A day before vacation. They gave you time to deactivate.
Yeah.
They announced it and they gave you time to, and you waited to the last minute to deactivate.
Yeah, I did.
So are there still girls in the school that are still on Facebook?
Well, I don't have an account anymore, so I can't check it out, but I'm sure there are.
So was everybody happy about this? Let me turn to some of the other young ladies. You were never on Facebook before. That was by design, or that was just the way it is?
Well, I never had it because I thought it was a waste of time. I didn't really see any point of having it.
But you're on the internet?
Yeah, totally.
You text or?
Yeah.
Twitter?
No.
Mm-hmm. No one does Twitter. I don't. It's not popular. Like, people just don't do it.
In Beisrivka.
Yeah. In Beisrivka. In other schools, I think Twitter is, in fact, some ways, some of the kids, Twitter is even, I wouldn't say more popular, pretty popular. They're always using for new tools to communicate. But that's more like texting because it's only a couple lines of Facebook. You can be more elaborate about that.
Mm-hmm.
Were all the, like you, for example, you mentioned, Chana, that you were, that's Mushka, I'm sorry. Chaya Mushka, okay. So I just got to make sure I got the right Mushka because everybody has Mushka in their name. So Chaya Mushka, so you were on Facebook, or your friends were, you did it only because the school told you to do it. So when you graduate, you'll be back on Facebook?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't given it much thought, but I probably will.
Probably will. And so even those that pretty much, there were some kids that were in the media that they say they didn't like the policy, they were going to continue to rebel. Is that true? Is that an accurate reflection, or has everybody officially come on board, even though they may have Facebook on the side?
Okay, I'm sure there are those girls that did not deactivate their accounts, and of course, a lot of girls were unhappy about the rule. I think most girls did deactivate their accounts. I know within a week of the ban, half my friends were gone. So I do think, yeah, of course, girls are disappointed. Of course, some girls feel rebellious about it and upset, and they have a reason to. But at the same time, a lot of girls understand where the school's coming from, and they understand that it's a rule that they have to follow.
Tell us about a petition or a letter to the principal.
So actually, a email was sent out to the entire school.
I think I don't know if it was the entire school, because I know a lot of girls said they didn't get it.
Oh, as many.
When we were talking about school, yeah, most of the school got this letter, like an email saying, "Oh, we signed this petition." It was like a letter like, "Dear Mrs. Tachta, whether we like it or not, we support you. We support the school's decision," and it got 200 signatures in just a day or two.
Out of how many?
500.
500
girls.
Yeah, in the school.
But not everybody has access.
Not
to
everyone
email
has an email. Not everyone got the email. Some girls said they, tried to sign again. It didn't work for them.
Some girls went over to the principal afterwards and said, we support you.
She said she got flowers from girls.
Yeah.
Now, were you girls prepared for the media onslaught, all the publicity, all
No
the...
way.
No way.
About it.
What'd you think about it?
I was so mad. I was really upset.
Why were you mad?
Because it's like a school rule. It's not the world's business. Why are they taking such an interest in it? It's literally just a school rule.
It's probably one of the top items on Facebook.
Right.
And say goodbye to each other on Facebook.
Yeah. I set up a Google alert, so every time and something on the internet came up, Beisrivka Facebook, it came straight to my inbox. So I got all these blogs, all these news sites that picked up on it. I got the article straight in my inbox, and the comments on them were so, anti everything. And it was such a chilul Hashem, I think. I don't know. It just really upset me to see that this internal school thing became suddenly a worldwide issue.
Now, let me ask you this question, because I think part of the fear is of being on Facebook that there may be some inappropriate things, or people may get low self-esteem if they're not to have many likes. More kids will have more likes than others, right? First of all, did anybody you know or yourself go in inappropriate places or have inappropriate conversations, or were there a problem with the likes and dislike system?
Personally, myself, you want me to admit that live? No, I won't. No, I actually did not. I used it responsibly. I mean, of course, there are people that will not use it responsibly. At the same time, anyone who wants to do anything inappropriately on Facebook will do it elsewhere as well. If they don't have a Facebook account, it's not too difficult. If you want to do the wrong thing, you can anyway. But at the end of the day, definitely it has prevented people from doing the wrong thing, the rule, because when you're told not to be on Facebook, there are things that once you're on Facebook, there are plenty of things that you do have more access to than if you're not on Facebook.
But if you have access to the World Wide Web, which you do, okay,
yeah, I don't think
so you can access anything, even if you don't have Facebook, you can access that. So that's why I'm just trying to get a handle as to why Facebook, as opposed to a complete internet ban or not,
I don't think it's Facebook specifically. I mean, if like Twitter were the cool thing, if everyone was on Google Plus, it would be. It's not against Facebook. It's just the idea that kids are, wasting time, spending time online, And Facebook as a social networking site is so fake.
Especially while we're in school, and, as Mr. Patel said, we're supposed to be focusing on other things, not.
But also, there are stories of kids who. Well, no, I don't know.
It's kind of like we're in the years of our lives that we're supposed to be growing and learning social skills, how to interact with people. Being on Facebook, it does not enable us to do that. In fact, it takes away from that. Most of your social life if most of it's online, then you're not going to be interacting with normal human beings.
But you know something, and I have teenagers and I have children too. Facebook is one, but texting has a life of its own. So texting is okay, but if people losing their skills by just texting, by using some of the other social media. So it's not just Facebook.
You're right. Texting is also an issue. Therefore, they teach us how to, text responsibly. Don't say anything on text that you wouldn't say in real life.
Okay.
We've had social worker, the school social worker came and spoke to us, and we had classes with her, and they, we've talked about it, how do you set limits? How do you make it safe for yourself?
Well, that's
important.
But that's the key. It's moderation. That's true. And we'll hear from Rabbi David Teitelbaum in just a few minutes, and I'm sure he has a different perspective on Facebook, and everyone will broaden our conversation. Those that are just tuning in, we're looking at the Beis Rivka School in Brooklyn, where the school has banned Facebook for its students. We just heard from the principal of the school, an exclusive interview. Live in our studio is Chana Mushka Alevsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaya Mushka Bar Chaim. When we come back, we'll take your phone calls at 212-769-1925. 212-769-1925. If you want to email us a question, you can do so at zev@talklinecommunications.com. We will accept Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Plus. If you want to use some of that social media to send us a question, you can do so on Facebook, on Google Plus, on LinkedIn. It's Talkline with Zev Brenner, and if you do it on Twitter, it's Talkline Network. So you have your pick. 212-769-1925. If you're an educator, if you're a student, we want to hear from you, especially what your thoughts are about the Facebook dilemma. 212-769-1925. We'll be back right after these words from our sponsor. We'll also hear from David Teitelbaum. Strengthen your bones with advanced calcium formula by Freedom Nutritional Products. Bone health, absorption, and strength were all key considerations when developing this formula, which is why vitamin D3, calcium citrate, vitamin K, and magnesium lead the list of ingredients that help to preserve and build strong and healthy bones. Freedom Nutritional Products' Advanced Calcium Formula is one of the most complete bone formulas on the market today. Freedom Nutritional Products is a division of Freedom Vitamins, which has been helping people stay healthy for over 83 years. All Freedom Nutritional Products are certified kosher parv under the OU and New Square kosher certifications. For a free catalog, please call 1-800-777-3737. Again, that's 1-800-777-3737. Freedom Vitamin products can be found in local health food stores, or for a free catalog, please call them 1-800-777-3737. Again, that's 1-800-777-3737 for a healthier lifestyle. Are you traveling to Israel or Europe? TravelCell now offers you the convenience and safety of your own cell phone at the lowest calling rates. And now for Talkline listeners, a free rental. Yes, you can now get a free cell phone rental for your trip abroad from the leading cellular rental company that has been satisfying clients for over a decade. Just mention Talkline to get this free cell rental for Europe, Asia, or Eretz Yisrael. TravelCell is a convenient pickup location at its main office, 1981 Coney Avenue of Kings Highway in Brooklyn, also in Lakewood and the 5 towns, as well as pickup locations nationwide. Mention Talkline and get $5 off your rental. They also have unlimited BlackBerry, iPhone, iPad, Android, and SIM cards for Israel and all over the world. So call them today, 877-CELL-PHONE. Take advantage of the low rates and free rental of a cell phone for your next trip abroad. You can order online at TravelCell.com or call them 877-CELL-PHONE. A local USA number, Bluetooth camera phones are also available. Call today, 877 phone. Mention Talkline for your free phone and $5 discount. As you well know, threats such as a nuclear Iran, a Muslim Brotherhood-led Egypt, and a Palestinian Authority with Hamas participation pose grave challenges to Israel. You might ask, but what can I do? You can join NORPAC and 1,000 of your fellow Jews who will be convening on Washington to promote the American-Israel relationship and tell members of Congress why it's imperative to continue their unwavering support faith to Israel and strong Iran sanctions for enhanced security cooperation and united front against terror. We invite you to join them for one extraordinary day on NORPAC's annual mission to Washington on Wednesday, May the 9th. Buses will depart for Washington early that morning from various convenient locations in the tri-state area and return that night. On the buses, you'll be grouped into teams and provided training so you will be ready by the time you get to Washington. While in Washington, you'll have personal meetings with members of Congress and their staff. And if you have teenage children, this will be an incredible opportunity to show them democracy in action. In years past, NORPAC volunteers just like you helped secure billions in economic and military aid and promoted many other important issues to Washington decision makers. Complete round-trip transportation to and from Washington, D.C. and 3 Galat kosher meals are included with the registration fee. To register online for NORPAC mission on May 12th, go to NORPAC.net. That's NORPAC.net, or call them 201-788-5133. Again, that's 201-788-5133 to experience a great opportunity to make a difference for Israel. Spend the day with the family and teach your children democracy in action. At Sushi Moto, located at 1724 Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn, you'll find delicious and fresh sushi made according to Japanese tradition. Fresh sushi rolled while you wait. Make sure you try the omakase, the chef's choice. The chef will ask you if you like your sushi spicy or not, cooked or not cooked, fish or no fish, and he'll surprise you. Whether you want some vegetable rolls, some fish rolls, something exotic, or something in between, Sushi Moto will customize your sushi roll for your delicate taste buds. They have a whole variety of Japanese cuisine to choose from, including a full menu of hot and cold appetizers, salads, soups, entrees, desserts, and of course one of the best sushi experiences, if not the best one you've ever had. You have to taste it and see it to believe it. Sushi Moto is a full-service restaurant serving hot and cold sake and beer upon request. They have waiter service and hot towels available, and a kosher parv under the okay with their mashgiach tamidi, always on premises. So visit them today for a sushi bite worth taking. 1724 Coney Island Avenue in Flatbush, or call them 718-701-4144, 718-701-4144, or visit them online at sushimoto.com. That's sushimoto.com. They're open Sunday through Thursday, 12 to 12. Fridays open from 11 until 2 hours before Shabbos, and open 90 minutes after Shabbos until 1 a.m. Join them for a memorable kosher Japanese dining experience.
Hi, this is Sam Haskell, Executive Vice President of HMS Associates. For over 13 years, we've been servicing the community doing appraisals and real estate evaluations. If you are a buyer, you shouldn't purchase a property before getting an independent appraisal. Sellers have to make sure that they are not under or overselling. If you're doing estate planning, preparing your estate taxes with real estate involved, you must have a professional appraisal. Nonprofits can't sell their property unless they have a professional assessment for the Attorney General's office. If you're going through a divorce or if you feel your real estate taxes are too high, then call me for a free consultation. I advise and work with lawyers, bankers, and accountants, as well as private individuals. Anytime you need an appraisal, please call me, as I'm happy to answer all your questions. Don't do anything until you call me at 855-HMS-PLUS for a free consultation. That's 855-HMS-PLUS. Also online at hmsappraisals.com.
A service of Salem Communications. Have you received a foreclosure notice? Are you being sued by a bank that's different from the one you got your home loan from? Did the company that you send your mortgage payments to change? Did the bank you borrowed money from close or go bankrupt? Does the foreclosure notice list a trustee as a plaintiff? Does it seem your attorney is doing nothing? If you answer yes to any of these questions, Trujillo and Levine Law Group want you to know you have rights, and those rights are protected by laws, and those laws can help save your home from foreclosure. Don't let the banks take your home. Call the law offices of Trujillo and Levine Law Group at 800-870-6507 and schedule a free consultation. You have nothing to lose. Let Trujillo and Levine's experienced and knowledgeable attorneys help you defend your foreclosure case. Call now, 800-870-6507 for a free consultation. It could change your life. At Trujillo and Levine Law Group, they sleep better knowing you sleep better. Call today, 800-870-6507. This is an attorney-paid advertisement. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
I'm a very bad man. I don't even need to leave my computer, but I could steal your retirement, the equity in your home, even the money in your bank accounts.
Fighting identity theft on your own is nearly impossible. At LifeLock, we offer the most comprehensive identity theft protection available. Try LifeLock service risk-free for 60 days. If you're not convinced, cancel within 60 days of enrollment for a full refund. Call 1-800-431-0944 and use promo code ENROLL60. 1-800-431-0944. See LifeLock.com for details.
Listeners, here's the way to earn Quit Your Job money from home. IncomeAtHomeUSA.com wants listeners who want to work from home.
I have to tell you, it's the best decision that I ever made because we replaced my income and my husband's income. This business has allowed us to quit our jobs, and we're both at home full-time and loving it. Best decision I ever made. They're even giving away $1,000 to someone just for checking them out. Visit IncomeAtHomeUSA.com. IncomeAtHomeUSA.com. IncomeAtHomeUSA.com.
You're listening to WMCA New York. This hour of programming is paid for by the Talkline Communications Network.
Okay, welcome back to the program, and we're in just a moment. We're going to hear from David Teitelbaum, who has a different perspective on Facebook and Jewish children. But let's take some of your phone calls in the interim. 212-769-1925, live in our studios. Chana Mushkolevsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaya Mushka Bar Chaim, and we're taking calls. And let's go to Chana. Let's go to Chava in Crown Heights. You're on the air. Go ahead, please. Are you there?
Yes, hello?
Good. Good luck. Thank you for calling us.
Good luck. I'm just calling as a parent of one of the Beis Rivka girls. It's always been a rule, no internet, no Facebook. It's just being enforced right now.
But I understand that the internet is being allowed. It's just the Facebook that's the problem.
Okay. It's something which the girls, it's just being enforced right now because we weren't allowed to be on it all the time.
But let me bring some of the young ladies over here. Are you allowed to be on the internet? With her?
Yeah. Well, the school rule about internet is that if you have it, you should keep the computer in a public place. You shouldn't be aware of what your kids are doing. And
do you require a filter?
And they
encourage the parents to do whatever they think is right, safety-wise and responsibility-wise.
And they bring down people. I know they've brought down a couple speakers to teach parents about internet safety and stuff. But so I guess Large, how do you So they just say if you have internet, be responsible about it.
As you a parent, how do you feel about this? Do you support it? What's your position?
In general, I don't like when the girls hang out on internet. I feel like the girls do turn out and will turn out much better when they don't hang out on internet.
So you have in your home you have no internet whatsoever?
No, my children do not go on internet in the home.
Okay, but what about when they go to friends' homes where they do have internet?
My girls don't usually go on internet, no.
And do they have cell phones?
We have a cell phone to the house. No, there's no internet on the cell phone.
Oh, you have one of those kosher phones?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And it's working for you, and
it's working great, and I think the girls do better like this.
I appreciate your sharing that with us on this broadcast, and I thank you so much for calling in.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Good, thank you. Bye. Okay, before we get to Rabbi Teitelbaum, I just had... let's take one more question. We have Edward from Melbourne. Okay. Is that Melbourne, Australia? Edward, are you there?
Yes.
And where are you calling from?
Melbourne, New Jersey.
Melbourne. You see, they wrote down my screen. I wrote down Melbourne. Sorry, so Melbourne is another, but sure. Your question or comment for our young ladies in the studio?
Okay. My comment is that I have 2 nephews, and I don't want them to be able to use a computer in their own room until they're at least 14 and not have Facebook accounts until they're 18. I don't believe anyone should have a Facebook account until they graduate because there's no need for it. These people should be able to use Facebook to keep in touch with old friends or to try to find old friends.
In other words, you view Facebook as a vehicle just to keep connected to old friends? Is that what your thought is about Facebook?
Yes. I think texting is appropriate as long as the parents occasionally monitor what the text is about. I don't think they should be too overbearing because of trust. But Facebook, I'm 38 and I use Facebook to talk to people from college and from high school, and I see absolutely no need for it for a person who's in high school trying to keep in touch with friends that they basically see every day or can easily get in touch with through texting.
Anyway, I appreciate it, Edward. Thank you for calling. I appreciate your response on the air tonight.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. And we're going to go, I think, right now to David Teitelbaum. And David, in fact, we had his father on for many programs over the course of his time. His father, of blessed memory, was a very good guest in our broadcast. And David Teitelbaum is the son of noted Rabbi Eli Teitelbaum. And he's currently director of Camp Stay Chemet International. And we're going to go to him, and we're going to continue taking your phone calls at 212-769-1925. That's 212-769-1925. And we're going to take one email question before we go to David Teitelbaum. And a good email is a good way to get through to us tonight. If you have questions about our discussion, if you yourself are a teenager and want to discuss this issue, we're happy to do that with you. Okay, well, here's an interesting email question that we received. Here's a question for the ladies. Are any of the young ladies concerned that this Facebook controversy we brought up when it's time to find their marriage partners either by the boys or their mothers? Okay, let's look at our guests. Anybody want to tackle that?
I don't get the question. Is it the controversy?
Mushka, okay.
Yeah, I'm Mushka. I don't know. I think if you're on Facebook, people are going to be checking you out. Your boss is going to check you out. Yeah, someone in Shidduchim is going to be checking you out. Is the controversy going to affect you later in life? If you put something on Facebook, it's going to affect you later in life. And I think kids are stupid. They don't realize that if you put something on the internet, it's going to be there forever.
But that's true of Twitter, true of anything. So I think you said it before and your principal said it before. The whole key here is responsible action. And people, just like when you speak, when one speaks, one has to be careful what comes out of your mouth. You got to be careful what comes out through your hands by writing on the computer.
Yeah, of course, anything. Even if you have a class blog or whatever, if you put something there and it's under your name and you search for your name, it's going to come up. Facebook just seems to be more popular.
And my friend Mushka here, I was just speaking, she's like...
I scream at her.
She yells at me all the time. She's like, get that off the internet. And, I really have to thank her because, she actually is one who educated me a lot about, the dangers of Facebook. I never thought about the fact that my boss might look at my Facebook account one day and be like, hey, I'm not hiring you because you did this and this and that. And, of course, I took off a lot of the things I had on Facebook because of her. And I realized that most teenagers
But what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Pictures. I made her take off all her pictures, everything.
Yeah, I look really bad in a lot of them also. That's besides the fact. But just a lot of people don't realize. If I didn't realize that, I'm sure most teenagers don't realize that. They don't think about the future or the repercussions that
everything is archived. Everything is cached. You can access something that's been deleted 10 years ago. Totally possible.
But we have to be careful about it. Even though I would suspect, though, and let's put things in perspective and balance, is that, if you're looking for a job 10 years from now, I don't believe that they're going to go back 10 years on Facebook. Even with the timeline, it's probably easier. Facebook just changed before, I believe, in March, if I'm not mistaken, they changed. It made it much easier to go through the timeline where you can go through one's history. But then again, I'm just not sure how far back. And again, but people have to be careful what they put in on Facebook.
Yeah, maybe not a job, but if someone's looking to dig up dirt on you, they're going to find it.
Okay, let's introduce right now And let's go to David Teitelbaum, son of Rabbi Eli Teitelbaum, and thank you for being part of our broadcast. And I thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Zev, for having me.
My pleasure. So the question that I
can I just say something, Zev?
Sure, go right ahead.
First, just to be fair, would you mind having next week a few anonymous girls that I know would come on the radio talk?
Anonymous? Okay.
Yeah, well, not with them knowing that the school's listening or anything to them, that they can get in trouble for it.
Okay, so they can present their true feelings? Is that what you're saying? I think they're being honest, Bob.
Yeah, that's what No, I think they're being honest, too, but I also feel, and they seem like great girls, but, just if you want to get a true perspective of what a kid feels, you really need to be able to...
Mushka wants to respond to you because she's taking umbrage at what you're saying. Go ahead, Mushka.
Sure.
Okay. We did not want our names to be publicized. We did not want to make a big deal about this. We didn't tell any of our friends we were coming on. We didn't tell our extended family members. We just... Zev kind of asked us to be on it. We came and we're doing our thing. We're not parrots for the school. We're not anyone's puppets. We weren't.
I'm not.
We're just saying it like it is.
I just feel if a kid. You're right. I just feel if a kid wants to express himself completely, it should be anonymous. Not that their school itself has a ban on it, and then you're talking on the radio. If you said anything differently, obviously you can get in trouble for it. And I'll just address one thing you girls just mentioned about the fact that anything you put on there can't always be seen and you can get into trouble in public. One of the things, I have a boys' camp and a girls' camp, but my wife really runs the girls' camp, and she's the one that's really close with the girls on Facebook because we keep our privacy section separate. The girls have a private group, and the boys have a private group, and anything the girls put into their private group actually cannot be accessed by anyone else out on the Internet. So I just want to let you girls know that because you are concerned about things that people see or dig up on you. There is filters. There's not filters, I should say. There is ways to keep yourself completely private. And one of the things I had to do, actually, is after the summer, I had to help all the girls turn off all their images, make them private. In other words, only that their friends should be able to see. And the idea of Facebook is basically to connect only with your friends, and only your friends should really have access to any of your information. And because of the,
let me add this, David. In Camps Today International, you allow Facebook for the girls, or only if it has a private filter?
Okay, are you asking in the camp?
In the camp, or...
Well, we're a touring camp of Eretz Yisrael. There's not really time to sit down and use Facebook. What they do have is they have mobile, and kids sometimes upload pictures from, on the hike, and they're like, I'm having a great time in Israel, and that's, great advertisement for me. But they're not actually sitting there or using it or anything, so it doesn't affect the camp in any way.
Okay. So let's get your position straight, because I saw the article in Vus's Nice Vin News, and what prompted your response is a rally taking place in Citi Field where they're promoting using filters and regulating how the Internet's being used, and you were upset about it. So let's begin at the beginning.
Okay, so it gets a little complicated. What I wrote actually was an open letter to this rally that they're making of this event, and it actually got, when it went viral on the Internet, it got changed to a response to as if I was against the actual event, and nothing to do with that. It had to do with a pamphlet that I saw in my shul in Lakewood, and it said basically this event is about, we're taking off the ban, which, there's an official ban on the Internet for all the Haredi schools, the yeshiva schools, and the Yeshiva, and instead they're saying now that you could use the Internet, but you have to use filters. And while I agree completely with filters, there wasn't a point of it at all. It was the point that really we have to start dealing with the new realities of today. And the fact is that kids are using the Internet, and the fact is they are using Facebook, and the fact is they're using all these things. And we have to start changing our educational system to accompany these kind of things. Now, you just had some girls on that kept on saying that they put on stuff and it was public and people didn't know and this or that. Now, the reason it happened was because the schools were not allowed to talk about Internet or Facebook. Most Yeshiva and yeshivas cannot discuss that word and not only teach the kids about it. If they just had a teacher that understood Facebook or knew Facebook, or someone came in and taught the girls about being able to keep privacy, these kind of things are so important to the kids to know. Yeah, that if they put a picture up, it is going to be seen by everybody, unless, of course, you use the proper privacy settings on every picture. Facebook has an incredible amount of detailed privacy settings that you could go through. That you can make only certain people see it, only other people see it. You can only talk. You can have groups where, and you can keep the groups closed.
So what I understand, David, what you're saying
is
that you support they can use Facebook, but they should have more privacy settings if they're using it.
Is that 100%? I'm for filters and privacy settings, and for educating the kids about it. Now, of course, also I'm not telling anyone to use it or to not use it. What I am saying is that there could be positive benefits that Facebook could be done to use for positive reasons. And I do come from a background of Chabad also. My father was a Chassid of Lubavitcher Rebbe, in a way. So we do have their school and my hashkafa and ideology are very similar in the sense, of course, that technology could be used both for good or bad.
By the way, let me also put in, I was at a convention recently where they said the iPhone is a Maisa Satan, the work of the devil. It's the Yetzer Hara. I've heard that used.
Yes, that prompted me to write an article in response to it and saying that no, that's a terrible thing to say, and technology could be used for both ways. And I actually got banned from a newspaper because I wrote that. But
which newspaper banned you?
I'm not going to say it on the air. I don't know if it's so comfortable. You could find out somewhere.
Are you afraid they're going to ban you again?
No, I'm not afraid at all. I just don't like writing names and people and stuff like that, and I'm not interested in publicizing it. But most people know the story. It's been written up in a few places. I wrote an article pro technology. Basically, somebody else wrote me back, and he called me all kinds of names, that I'm anti-Gadol, I'm anti-Das Torah, and all that kind of stuff. And I try to respond to that person, and they refuse to put my response in I don't want to say the reasons why or why not, but the point is they refuse to let me respond to any of that kind of
David,
stuff.
I have here one of the young ladies, I believe it's Mushka, wants to respond to you.
Me again?
Go ahead, Mushka.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, you're talking, first you said it's how schools and institutions should educate the public, so I just want to say we had a speaker come in, I don't know when it was, last year, and he calls himself the Jewish Cyber Cop, I forget his name. I want to say Philip something, but I might be making that up. And he came and talked to us about being safe on the Internet, and we have the social workers in school have talked to us. It is an open discussion.
Right.
From Muncie, New York.
I knew it was really good. It's good that you brought that up. The problem is that a lot of these adults and people that come in and talk don't know themselves what they're talking about, even the professionals out there. And the reason is because there's something going on with technology where it changes so fast. And I happen to be one of the few adults that actually interact with teenagers on Facebook. In other words, most of my friends are actually not on Facebook. The only reason I'm on is because I have campers in the summer and I want to communicate with them during the year. So I actually have an account and I'm communicating with teens. And my perspective of what I see is so different from what adults say about it, and even professionals out there. And with regarding to what Seth brought up before, or maybe the girls did, about the fact that, these new type of texting and Facebooking and all these kind of things, that it does harm for kids, whether socially or whether it does harm for you because I've heard things like multitasking, all these kind of issues, like it affects you. The truth is people really thought that for years, and a lot of people that came out, psychiatrists and all these kind of people and special educators that thought all these things. But one of the things I'm actually doing now is I'm writing up for a newspaper that contacted me to show that the newest studies actually contradict all the older studies. And the problem is that we were facing new technology that nobody understood. The parents don't use it, only kids have it, and it's new, it's brand new, and it's a new type of thing. And most of the mistakes that people make is not because they're saying things intentionally wrong. It's because they don't understand it at all. I mean, I met a Rebbe this over Pesach, one of the best Rebbe in my age. He's great. He's a great Rebbe, everything. And he tells me at the table when we're talking, he's like, Facebook is the worst thing ever for kids. It's the biggest problem. I said, really? He's like, yeah. I said, it's worse than television. And I'm like, do you know what Facebook is? And he was hesitant. And then he started saying things. Almost every factor he thought what Facebook was completely not true.
Here's an email question for you.
Yeah, sure.
For all of you, here's a question. If one of the issues for banning Facebook is so that students should not be able to do wrong, what do they do about false names? If students wish to involve themselves in appropriate things, there's always a way, and this won't magically heal it.
Is that for us or for him?
Anybody? You want to tackle the...
Can I just tell you a story first about that?
Sure, and then I'm going to have the girls respond. Yes,
yeah, 100%. So So because I use Facebook, and the great thing is that you can decide who your friends are and who's not. And I obviously don't think it's appropriate for me to be friends with any of the girls in camp, so I'm not friends with them. My wife is friends with all the girls in camp. And one time I'm passing by the computer, and I'm like, Lishava, that's my wife's name, by the way. I'm like, why do you have a boy on your Facebook group talking with everyone? I thought we. And she's like, no, it's a girl. And I'm like, what do you mean that's a girl? It's a picture of a boy. And she's like, I think her school doesn't allow it, so she puts up a picture of a boy and uses the boy's name. And take from that story what you want. I don't want to say anything else but more than that.
Okay, any young ladies want to tackle that?
I don't think that...
Mushka again.
Yeah. Someone else speak up. To begin with, the school's reason for not wanting us on Facebook. It's not just about you can change your privacy settings. Yeah, you can fool anyone. It's just about where is your head? Is it is it in the internet? Is it in your learning? If you're out of school, you're out of school. I mean, by that time you're an adult. You can do your own thing. When you're in school and you're supposed to be learning and focusing, and where is your head? Is it on your phone? Between breaks, like checking your checking your friends, updating your statuses, or is it? You also said that the professionals and the adults themselves don't know what they're up against. I'm going to say that as editor of our school newspaper, we actually put out an entire issue devoted to Facebook, to the internet, from the points of view of girls themselves, how they feel about it, what they do about it, some negative experiences, positive experiences.
Who approves that? Does the school have to approve that newspaper?
Does it have to approve it?
No, there's everything approved by the administration is what he's asking.
It's shown to them, but they don't. It's not censored. They never take anything out or negate it. It's shown to them before we send to print.
Jim,
we can say whatever we want.
Let's take a phone call before we break. Let's go to Hempstead, Long Island, and go ahead, Wayne. You have a question for our guest. Go ahead, Wayne, in Hempstead.
Yes, I'm a New York City school teacher, so of course it's not the private school. But I don't know if anyone's aware. New York City Public School bans Facebook inside of the schools, meaning they have filters. So, for example, you can't go to any kind of site outside of what is permitted. For example, YouTube is banned generally. If a teacher knows of a YouTube video that's totally educational, then that would be unlocked. But from that website, they still couldn't go to other YouTube videos. The same thing with Facebook. You can't even get onto Facebook on any New York City public school computer. And we have to realize that the public schools the New York City Public Schools is the largest school district in the entire country with 1 million students.
No, you raise a good issue. However, I think what the thing that we're discussing is that the school itself, obviously in school, none of the yeshivas will allow Facebook or any of the social media within the school setting itself. The issue becomes, what do the kids do beyond school in their private time?
I understand what you're saying, and the comment is, yes, the Facebook official rule is that you have to be 13 to have a Facebook. Of course, it's a private company, so they can make their own rule, and at the same time, while we was listening to your very interesting broadcast, I did some research on the Internet concerning Facebook and young people, and across the entire country, it sounds wild, but actually 70% of all people in the United States permit their children under 12 to have Facebook. In fact, some parents, obviously, hopefully not in the community, they're 6-year-olds and under with a Facebook account that they supposedly monitor. However, it also showed in the study that approximately 70% of the parents are not really feeling that they can control their children with this. But then, on a broader basis, the question really becomes how many parents are using Facebook, and then, obviously, if they feel it's a comfortable and safe thing to do, then, and obviously millions and millions of adults do. How many in the community is another story. But nevertheless, I think here's the key issue, especially when it comes to education. The real problem is, and I agree with the principal, this is interfering with education, and it is a private school. Certainly, it's the right of the private school to make their own policy, and if parents aren't happy, of course they would.
Let me just say. By the way, I agree completely with both what the girls and what he's saying. That every kid should not be on Facebook during school at all, and even in the evenings, you shouldn't. Just like you shouldn't be on television in the evenings. There's a certain time that you should allow your kids, and there's actually filters or plugins for Google Chrome and everything that you could actually set it and with password protected by the parents to allow the kid to use it, let's say, only 20 minutes at night, or to use it only on Sundays for an hour. No, I agree with that 100%.
Right, and the key issue is this. We're talking about really a global situation. Facebook's about to go public, and they're integrating across the entire globe. So it's affecting every aspect of every kind of society. But the main issue is, let's go to education, because I am a New York City school teacher for 10 years, and I teach math and science and technology. And we have a serious problem on a broad-based scale in the United States. We do not have enough students getting involved with technology. Probably the same thing with the community, maybe a little less. But the real issue is over in China and in Asia and Malaysia, which are excellent educational systems with a sort of a homogeneous group of students, where there aren't that many outside influences to a degree, because the internet is pervasive, it's everywhere, it's ubiquitous. So the thing is, they are performing exceedingly well in math and science. Here in New York City and across the entire nation, we have a severe deficit in the learning, and there's no question about it. The distraction of the, not just Facebook, but the internet.
A lot of distractions that can be in the classroom and during the classroom itself. Wayne, you raised, I think, some very important issues. We appreciate your calling in tonight.
Excellent. And you have an excellent broadcast, so I appreciate you being there at all times.
Thank you. We're going to have to take a short break. When we come back, we continue our conversation, and live in our studios, we have three young ladies who are seniors in Beit Rivka School in Brooklyn, Chana Mushka, Alevsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaya Mushka, Bar Chaim. And on our phone line is David Teitelbaum, the son of Rabbi Eli Teitelbaum, the director of Camp Stay Chum International, and he supports that the teenagers should use Facebook and the internet, but use it responsibly. When we come back, more of your phone calls. What do you think, whether you're parents, whether you're a student itself? Do you believe that Facebook should be banned, the internet should be banned? What are your thoughts? 212-769-1925. If you're an educator, like we just heard from Wayne from Hempstead, Long Island, we'll take your calls too. 212-769-1925. You want to email us, zev@talklinecommunications.com. That's zev@talklinecommunications.com. When we come back, we want to get your opinion. Should it be banned, not banned? Should it be regulated? Can it be filtered? What do you think? We'll be right back. The Friends of Israel Disabled Veterans presents IDF Colonel Benzi Gruber, who will be presenting on ethics inside the IDF. This event, not to be missed, will take place on Tuesday, May 1st at 7:30 p.m. at the Jewish Center, 131 West 86th Street in Manhattan. Colonel Benzi Gruber will speak about ethics in the field and give an inside look at the Israel Defense Forces with first-hand accounts from behind the front lines of Operation Cast Lead and the Gaza Flotilla. In addition, the Friends of Israel Disabled Veterans will also be hosting their third annual Five Towns 5K Run Walk at North Woodmere Park in Long Island on Sunday, April 29th. The Kids Fun Run starts at 9:30 a.m. and the main race starts at 10 a.m. in North Woodmere Park in Long Island. Money raised from the race will go directly to support disabled Israeli veterans and victims of terror. To sign up, register, go to 5towns5k.org. Again, that's 5towns5k.org. All proceeds from both events will benefit the Beit Halochem Rehabilitation Centers in Israel, which service and rehabilitates disabled Israeli veterans. For more information about either event or to learn more about Friends of Israeli Disabled Veterans, visit them at fidv.org. One of my kids' favorite places to shop is Talking Fashion at 1381 Coney Island Avenue, between Avenues J and K in Brooklyn. Great for teenagers, great for the women. They have wonderful selection, great prices. And now in stock, they have Joe's denim skirts in a bunch of colors. They just got blue for the second time, and they also have beige, black, white denim, and getting in red this coming week. And while you're there, make sure that you check out their hardtail collection and the selection of Dita tops from Italy. They have everything you need that's fashionable at fantastic prices. Again, that's 1381 Coney Island Avenue, between Avenues J and K in Brooklyn. So if you're talking savings, you have to talk Talking Fashions, where they have incredible savings on Nicole Miller, French Connection, Lauren Bianca, Quadro, many other designers. So if you're looking to be fashionable And also to be talking great prices, Talking Fashion is the place to go. 1381 Coney Island Avenue. Their phone number is 718-253-9825. 718-253-9825. Talking Fashion. Going today. Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Building a new house? Thinking of renovating but don't think you can afford to? Well, now there's a solution. At Stone and Bath Gallery, located at 39th Street between 8th and 9th Avenues, quality is not compromised by price. Stone and Bath Gallery is Brooklyn's largest showroom with over 5,000 square feet, featuring plumbing fixtures, including a tremendous selection of brand-name kitchen and bathroom faucets, sinks, vanities, toilets, bathtubs, jacuzzis, tub and shower sets, and more. And when it comes to tiles for indoors or outdoors, they have hundreds of the latest styles and designs, including the largest selection of Italian and Spanish tiles in mosaic tiles made from marble, onyx, granite, glass, stainless steel, and more. They also import their own custom designs that you won't find anywhere else. Let Stone and Bath Gallery's knowledgeable and courteous staff, who are also professional designers and interior decorators, floor you with their expert advice, letting you take advantage of their low, unbeatable prices. Stone and Bath Gallery is centrally located on 39th Street between 8th and 9th Avenues in Brooklyn, with plenty of free customer parking right in front of the store. Please call them 718-438-4500. That's 718-438-4500. For commercial and residential where quality and affordable prices are important, the choice is clear. Stone and Bath Gallery, worth a trip from anywhere. Located at 856 39th Street, they're open Sunday for your convenience from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
The events in Toulouse, France, are a fresh reminder that we are witnessing efforts to dehumanize the Jewish people. The appeasement and funding of entities which promote the hatred of others must be stopped. We must not remain silent. The silence of 6 million Kedoshim cries out to us. A Yom HaShoah vigil will be held this Sunday, April 22nd, 12 noon, in front of the Iranian mission to the UN at 622 3rd Avenue and East 40th Street. One day your children will ask, what did you do to stop the Iranian madness? Be there on Sunday, April 22nd, 12 noon, in front of the Iranian mission to the UN at 622 3rd Avenue and East 40th Street in Manhattan. Be there, rain or shine.
And that's important to be there, because this is an important rally to send the right message that we won't tolerate what Iran's trying to do to not only our people but to the West.
Meet me at Meet Me for a delicious upscale fine dining experience at 726 Amsterdam Avenue between 95th and 96th Streets on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Meet Me is a delicious French-American glatt kosher steakhouse and sushi bar, serving a wide variety of the finest selections of meat from a master butcher. Meet Me offers the highest level of gourmet pleasure, blending French-American and Asian food under one roof. Meet Me features delicate soups and salads, appetizers, fish, steak, bison, beef, hamburgers, and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Cater your next event at Meet Me. Private parties are available in the back room for Friday night dinner with a minimum of 20 people. For a delicate French steakhouse and sushi bar that's strictly kosher under the Vada Rabbanim of Queens, call 212-678-7000. That's 212-678-7000. Or visit them online at meetmeny.com. That's MEAT, me.com. Meet Me at Meet Me at 726 Amsterdam Avenue between 95th and 96th Streets on the Upper West Side of Manhattan for a delicious dining experience.
Hi, this is Sam Haskell, Executive Vice President at HMS Associates. For over 13 years, we've been servicing the community doing appraisals and real estate evaluations. If you are a buyer, you shouldn't purchase a property before getting an independent appraisal. Sellers have to make sure that they are not under or overselling. If you're doing estate planning, preparing your estate taxes with real estate involved, you must have a professional appraisal. Nonprofits can't sell their property unless they have a professional assessment for the Attorney General's office. If you're going through a divorce or if you feel your real estate taxes are too high, then call me for a free consultation. I advise and work with lawyers, bankers, and accountants, as well as private individuals. Anytime you need an appraisal, please call me, as I'm happy to answer all your questions. Don't do anything until you call me at 855-HMS-PLUS for a free consultation. That's 855-HMS-PLUS. Also online at hmsappraisals.com.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner. David Teitelbaum is on our Newsmaker line, the son of noted Rabbi Eli Teitelbaum, director of Camp Steicham International. He supports that people should use, including teenagers, should use Facebook. Our guests live in studio are part of Beis Rivka. They're students in the 12th grade, where the school has a ban on using Facebook. Chana Mushka-Levsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaim Mushka Bar Chaim, and I see Chavit Krasnowski is here, so welcome her. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to take your phone calls, 212-769-1925. But before we get to our busy phone lines, let me turn to you, David Teitelbaum. Why do you think people and teenagers and young ladies and yeshivas should be using Facebook? What are the benefits?
That's a great question. So there's a lot of benefits, and I hope to be publishing an article soon, a newspaper that I'm going to be putting them in. But really quickly, I'm going to try to give you some ideas. We could look at this negatively, or we could look at this actually as one of the most positive things to ever happen. You know how teenagers usually keep to themselves and keep privately and want to speak to their friends and tell their friends things and hang out with their friends and not, with their parents it's a little separated and a little different. We have for the first time now an opportunity where parents themselves can actually watch what their kids are doing with their friends on Facebook. Now, this has to only work if you're a non-judgmental type of a parent. If you're not the type that's going to get your kid in trouble for anything she does, but if you just want to know a little bit more about what's going on in their lives, like someone like me, the way I interact with my teenagers, I really know a lot more of what they're going through in life and what's happening every day in their things because they post pictures, they make comments, and I have a better idea. If I want to help them with things, I can do that. I mean, I know the Rebbe that's
you're friends with your kids on Facebook.
I'm friends with my teenagers. No, my kids are too young, but I'm friends with my teenagers from camp on Facebook, and I know a lot about what's going on with their life because Facebook is really a way of showing, when you go somewhere, you do something, you post a photo, and you interact with your other friends and interact with other kids, and you get a basic idea of what is happening with what's going on in their life. I mean, I know a Rebbe in a very modern Orthodox school that if you want to be in his class, they have to friend him on Facebook. Now, again, this will only work if a Rebbe is the type of person that won't get a kid in trouble for something that they see on Facebook. But for an open person that's able to give over, and love and want to help and want to deal with the kids and know what's going on in their life, this is a great way for him. He doesn't have to actually be on Facebook. If you look at night, he can look for a few minutes. He can look online.
One young lady wants to respond. Chaim Mushka, what do you say?
Okay, thanks. First of all, I don't think most teenagers are friends with their parents on Facebook or would friend their teachers on Facebook. I personally would not accept my mother as a friend. I mean, I wouldn't because, it's kind of embarrassing. But also, in addition to that,
I have a lot of teenagers that do. I don't have a lot. I have a few teenagers that do, and they have a great relationship with their parents. And again, I said it only works if a parent is not going to be get you in trouble for things that she sees on Facebook. Otherwise, it won't work, of course.
I think a parent like that, you don't need to be on Facebook. A parent who's open like that, you can just have a discussion with them. That kind of parent. I don't think you need to be on Facebook.
But most of the time, you're right. But most of the time, you're hanging out with your friends and doing things with your friends. You're not talking about everything with them, But they'll get a better idea of what's going on in your life if you're using Facebook. If you're going places and taking pictures, they'll just have a bigger insight in something. I met a grandmother. I couldn't believe this. A 70-80-year-old lady on Facebook. She liked my Stay Kremet page, and I couldn't believe that there was a person that owned on Facebook. So I messaged her. And she's like, what? You use Facebook? I mean, who are your friends on Facebook? Well, she said, all my grandchildren, they're all using Facebook. And you know what? I was so upset. And all my other old friend ladies, they're so upset that they have no interaction anymore with their grandchildren. They have no interaction with their family. They're all moved out, and they're so sad. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go on Facebook, find my grandchildren, friend them. And she said it's been phenomenal since then. She comments on every one of her grandchildren's pictures, and they comment back, and they're like, hi, and back and forth. They have conversations.
Which is marvelous. So let me ask you this question.
It is, but you know what? Yeah, sure,
forgive me, I'm going to ask everybody to be succinct. We have a lot of emails coming in. Just a question for you. Citi Field is having a rally in a number of weeks. What is your position of having this rally regarding the Internet, where they want to regulate it and filter it and have this gathering to discuss it? Your thoughts about that rally, because that's the original impetus for the article that was on Vos's Nice that had your signature on it.
And me, you're talking to me, right?
For your opinion, right, what that whole rally.
Oh, okay. So with regarding to the rally, I didn't have an opinion. I saw a flyer that said that this rally is about having filters instead of banning it, and I thought that was the wrong direction. Now, the actual rally itself, it's hard to know what exactly the purpose is of it, so I can't really comment on it. I mean, they sort of changed it from different ads. Right now, the only thing really that it says in the ad is that everybody's going to be there, all the Gedolim are going to be there, so you must be too. That's really much what the ad is saying. They didn't have really decided yet if it's positive, negative filters or anything else that I know of. But I did speak to a lot of verbatim of mine and other people in the community, and they told me they're not going to the event. So I'm really confused myself. I think lots of people out there are not sure what this event is. I know they're spending millions of dollars and they're renting out a huge stadium, and I hope they come up with a good reason and something constructive out of this event. But until I know what really the point of the event is, I can't really comment on the event,
Sure.
and I really shouldn't. It wasn't the point.
Okay, let me take you to our busy phone lines. Any young lady want to say something before we get to our phone call?
Yeah. First of all, you were saying before that the fact that you're friends with these kids on Facebook lets you know more about what's going on in their lives. I think that is part of the problem. Why are kids posting everything that's going on in their lives on Facebook? If a kid's depressed, they should not be posting that on Facebook. That's embarrassing. I mean, deal with that in private. Of course, there's nothing embarrassing about being depressed, but you don't have to publicize everything. And
you're right. You should get up in schools and talk to the kids of what they should be posting and what they shouldn't. But did your school ever tell you which pictures should be posted and which pictures shouldn't? No, because they ban it, and that's the problem.
You said yes.
Yeah.
But they don't want you to post any pictures on Facebook.
No, they've educated us definitely about internet safety and Facebook safety. The reason they don't want us to have Facebook in school while we're in school is because, again, their approach is they're not with all due respect.
This is only in school. I misunderstood this whole thing. Is this about in school or not to have Facebook at all?
Not to have while you're a student in the school, and not to have Facebook, because I mean I think
our school really cares about us after school hours too. It's not just like, oh, we're in classes and whatever. They really care about our chinuch. It's a life. It's teaching us about life and just lifelong lessons and values. It's not just their 40-minute classes.
I'm glad I go to a school that
right. But what does it have to do with Facebook?
Well,
what does that have to do with Facebook? I understand.
Okay, they don't believe, obviously, that a student at this point in their lives should be on Facebook for, I guess, psychologically, socially.
It's a distraction to learning. I mean, kids are spending more time on Facebook than they do studying.
Waste your time to promote.
Well, again, you're right. That's why you have to limit it. Of course, 100%. I mean, you cannot. Moderation is the key.
Right, but why would you even want to? Something I think they're not against the internet in general. We have programs in school like where there is an online school where children who live out of town all over the world, Chabad children go to a virtual school online, and there is a program where we're homework helpers. We help them do their homework. We befriend them, and we tutor them after school. We do this online. We Chabad.org. I mean,
there's so much learning you can do online.
We use the internet. We use it for good. Why is Facebook at this point in your lives good? Yeah, you can make it good. You can make anything good. But why even?
But that's exactly the point that he's making. That says that everything could be used properly.
I'll explain. I'll explain you something else with regarding to girls. I have, for example, a camp in Israel, and I get girls from across the United States, from Israel, from other countries. Now, when I was a kid, and I went to the camp myself, after the summer, you made best friends in camp, but after the summer, no matter how much you tried, sending letters or phone calls, it never worked out. It went for a month or two at most that you were able to keep connected. But with Facebook, I see these girls now. It's been 7 months since the summer, and they're still best friends. They're still They're still sending pictures to each other. They're in touch so much that they're still inviting each other for Shabbos. And the girls are going to reunions. They're driving very far distances only because they still have a connection, and that connection only came because they still had Facebook. Now, I think most girls have friends from all over, and especially from camps, because in camps you make friends from all different places. So to be able to keep that connection, again, in moderation, but to go on for a few minutes at night and see the pictures of your friends in Israel and being able to see what they're up to, what they're doing with their life, is a beautiful thing to me. I mean, I want to see, some of my friends. I would love to know what's going on, what's doing.
Interesting point. We have a blazing board. Forgive me,
sure.
but we have a blazing board. We have only a few moments left. Let's go to Mayrav in Flatbush. Your question for our guest. Go ahead, Mayrav in Brooklyn.
Yes, Mayrav, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi. I just want to say that I have a computer. I'm not really, don't really have time because I teach, but to go on there, But there used to be something like similar, like a conference call that I found out from my cousin, that that you can call and you can put a code and you can have like a conversation together. And there was like a few codes that most people knew, like from all over like the country. You could be talking to anybody in California, everybody like all talking together. And then I realized one day I tried to call it and that code wasn't working. And I just heard like all of a sudden music the whole time. So like somebody obviously banned, because it started to get inappropriate. And I realized that they banned it. But there were other codes that were known for like Tehillim groups and everything in davening. So it turned out like they use it in the right way.
So your point that you want to make is?
That sometimes you have to filter. If it's not used in the right way, like I think if there is Facebook, it has to be like not an open house. It's like if you only let certain people in your own house, or whatever. You don't publicize everything. It should be like
But what you're saying is there has to be moderation. You have to know being a Jew. Let me just say this point where people listen to my program hear this all the time. Being a Jew and being an Orthodox Jew is a balancing act. You have to carry two business cards, and one card says Bishvili Nivra Olam, because of me the world was created. The other one says Ani Afer Ve'afar, I am nothing but dust and ashes, which is just the opposite. Being a Jew is knowing when to use each card appropriately and properly. That's what.
Sure, Zev, there were certain kids that I noticed were on too much, and I was speaking to them, and I actually told them, I think you should go take your account off for a while, because it looks like you're getting a little bit addicted and wasting too much time with it. And they listened to me. We encourage that from kids. It depends. If you got addicted to something, you got to be careful with it. You got to stop.
Absolutely.
And moderation.
Moderation
but who's going to tell them?
Why give you the opportunity to be addicted in the first place?
An opportunity to what?
She wants to know why give you an opportunity to be addicted. Say it again one more time.
Why give us the opportunity to be addicted in the first place? I think there are.
To want to use it?
To be
No, what you're saying is why be addicted in the first place if you have to. But it's not being addictive; it's being regulated. I don't
know. I don't.
You can be addicted to anything. That's the thing.
What do you think the point is?
I don't think that's the point. I think
what do you think the point?
I think what people are most like, well, can the school limit Facebook? Can it decide if the students are allowed to use Facebook in or out of school? Whether or not Facebook is a good thing or not. It's really about the school's decision to say even out of school hours, our students in the school cannot use Facebook. And the way I see it is that. I think it's a difference between chinuch and education. If you educate the kids, you're there from 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, whatever the school hours are. If it's chinuch, it's all around. It's all the time. Like I was, looking up yearbook quotes because we're making our yearbook now. I saw one that said, "Education is what remains after you've forgotten everything you learned in school." And I think that's what this is about. It's about education. It's about the school. It's not about just the classes you take. It's about we want you to be a well-developed individual. We want you to it's not. We want you to spend your time in your school years, which are the formative teenage years. Everybody agrees the 4 years of high school, the most important your development as a human being. I mean, psychologically as well as as a Torah Jew and whatever. We want you to be involved in only the good things. We don't want to give you opportunities to dabble in things that are questionable because Facebook is obvious.
But here's the point though: is the Facebook the problem with how you use Facebook, and that's really the issue of the internet. The whole discussion, if we broaden it, is how do we use it appropriately? Your principal feels that Facebook is not being used appropriately, so she's banning it. Other schools ban the internet completely. David Talbot feels you can use the Facebook properly. Everything can be used appropriately. So before we break, my question...
Can I say something? I mean, again, I think it's a problem of people not knowing what the social networking is. I think these kids do, at least the ones that said that you've used it and stopped, they probably have a better idea of what it is. But I think most people don't have any clue.
Have you before? Yeah, definitely.
But Chaim Mushka hold on, David. But Chaim Mushka has been up until the ban took effect. Just 3 weeks you're out of Facebook. You miss Facebook? Were you going to go back to Facebook when you graduate in a couple of months?
I will. I definitely. The thing is, I have the proper education to know how to use it responsibly, And I could definitely thank my school for that. I could thank, my educators for that. I know how to use responsibly, but you were also saying before how...
I'm not sure how, you had to use it responsibly from your school if your school doesn't allow you to use it. It's very hard to teach a kid how to use it responsibly if they're not allowed to use it. And then after the fact that they're using it anyway. So it's hard for a school. What are they going to do?
We're not
They
sheltered.
can't teach someone.
We're not sheltered. We do know what the Internet is.
No, obviously. But, think about the Internet, right? The Internet is already almost 20 years old. And for such a long time, there's been a ban on it from, again, the Orthodox community or whichever community. And the ban
I think the ban is more recent. Hold on. The ban is more recent.
No.
At the buttressship point, hold on. Here's an email question from us, which I think is part of what you're saying, Dov. I think that schools are observing the power of parents to parent their own children. Instead of banning everything, children should be taught how to use things. This is what you're saying, David, with our listeners.
Yeah, of course. But we didn't understand what the Internet was for a long time. When I was a kid, they used to tell us the Internet is schmutz, the Internet is the P word, whatever. They used to say all these things about it, and
we were never taught that the Internet is schmutz. In
Definitely
fact,
not.
Chabad has a huge
presence online. You're right.
Let them respond. Go ahead, Sarah.
Chabad has a huge presence online. Chabad.org. We're encouraged to go on Chabad.org. There's so much learning there that there is to offer.
In fact, this will probably be on Chabad.org tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we probably pioneered the idea that if there's something available in the world, technology, use it, but use it for the right purposes. Use it to serve Hashem. Use it for the good.
Right, I agree. I was brought up with that same thing. I was brought up with
that. But then you definitely understand where we're coming from.
Okay.
I understand it completely. The problem is, do everyone else understand what Facebook is? And by the way, in Chabad it was that way. But think about all the schools in the yeshiva world and Bisakos where the Internet is still banned, by the way. It hasn't even came off yet. That was one of the things.
Now, if you want to keep in touch with people, use email, Google groups, there's texting, blogs, we all go to the same camp.
Yeah, you want to keep in touch with your friends. You want to keep in touch with your friends.
We do that.
Our grade has a Google group that we use, and it's it's just our grade. No one else could view it. It's on our emails.
What's the difference between a Google group and a Facebook group?
Because first of all, it
goes to your inbox, not to the world.
Exactly, and also you're not looking
at it. A Facebook group could be a Facebook group could be
liking it.
A Facebook group could be closed or open. If you like a picture, it makes it bad.
Because it's not. Facebook is not limited to just groups. Facebook, there's games, there's people's pictures.
Of course there is, but you don't have to do those things. Google has games too, but you could decide to use a Google group, or you could decide to use the games. It's your decision what you should do and what you try to do.
To be more succinct, we're running out. I have to get some of the calls and the email. We got a break, but I believe what Dov is saying is you can, just like on Google Plus, you can filter out those that are not inside your circle. You can do the same thing on Facebook. You can limit it just to a certain finite group of people, just like you can do on Google Plus.
We're saying it as if it's Facebook against Google Plus. It's Facebook against. It's not Facebook against anything. It's not which program, which social network is better than the other. It's the idea of putting your head in putting your head in the first place. Like I said, if Google Plus was cool,
putting your head in what? Putting your head in what? Putting your head in what? Having one. Yeah.
I want Chaima's to tell you actually because she was on Facebook.
Okay, so I personally witnessed this. So many girls post pictures of them doing immature things. They post statuses, really, nothing, smart or necessary, and then they get validation from it. They get likes, they get comments, and then they do it again and again and again, and it promotes immaturity.
Right. You didn't get enough likes.
I never got likes. I never posted. Really. I rarely posted. I think she mostly stalked other people, which is another problem.
When I was a kid in the real world, we used to do a lot of stupid stuff in the real world without Facebook, and a lot of our friends used to like it without clicking the like button, and used to encourage other kids to do stupid things, and it really has nothing to do with Facebook, that idea that kids could do dumb things and other kids could like it. That is not a Facebook concept.
And validation,
and it's always about saying that. Yeah, it's
I want validation from my friends. If they like my picture, I feel really good about it. They liked it. It's very nice.
So much more affirming, is it effective? Than a
like on your picture. If a girl comes over to you in school and says, I like your dress, does that make you feel good or not?
Amazing.
Yeah, better than a like.
Right. So if she likes your picture, on Facebook, it's the same feeling you get.
Anyway,
I disagree. It's so impersonal.
We're going around. Let's pick up on this when we have only a few moments, and when we come back, we'll squeeze in as many calls. We have a lot of good emails we're going to get to, too. 212-769-1925, our numbers. We're facing off about Facebook, and you heard David Teitelbaum, who I believe Facebook and all the Internet could be used positively by our youngsters as well as adults. Chana Mushka-Levsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaya Mushka, Bar Chaim, Chevet Krasnowski, all live in our studio. Students, 12th graders at Beit Rivka. When we come back, our final round, taking your calls, your emails, 212-769-1925 or ZV at TalklineCommunications.com.
Take care of your teeth before you lose them. Are you scared of going to the dentist? Dr. Braun has just the solution for you. He has stereo headphones and nature murals on the walls to help you relax and soothe yourself in the dentist chair. Children frequently eat foods that contribute to tooth decay. To prevent this tooth decay, Dr. Braun applies concentrated fluoride gel after cleaning their teeth. He also recommends and applies liquid sealants to further protect their teeth from food and bacteria lodging in the grooves of their teeth. The gentle dental care that Dr. Braun provides is complete family dentistry by preventing cavities and root canal treatment. He also has a special knack for cosmetic contouring, bonding laminates and veneers to achieve beautiful results without spending Manhattan prices. Dr. Aaron Braun will help you gently take care of your teeth. He will take the time to go over special home care techniques to help you prevent cavities and will make sure you understand what to do and how to do it. At Gentle Dental Care, Dr. Aaron Braun is serious about providing you superior dental care at reasonable prices and is dedicated to helping you prevent problems before you feel them. When your teeth are sensitive to cold or sweet, you already have a problem. He does free consultations for areas missing teeth to find the best possible solutions with unbelievable prices. Visit Gentle Dental Care today at 1242 56th Street in Borough Park. That's 1242 56th Street, Brooklyn, New York. Call them to schedule your appointment today at 718-436-2300. That number again is 718-436-2300, and you'll be glad you did.
And if you call right now and leave your name and number, Dr. Braun's staff will call you back. Make sure you mention my name, Zev Brenner, for a 5% discount.
The events in Toulouse, France, are a fresh reminder that we are witnessing efforts to dehumanize the Jewish people. The appeasement and funding of entities which promote the hatred of others must be stopped. We must not remain silent. The silence of 6 million Kedoshim cries out to us. A Yom HaShoah vigil will be held this Sunday, April 22nd, 12 noon, in front of the Iranian mission to the UN at 622 3rd Avenue and East 40th Street. One day your children will ask, what did you do to stop the Iranian madness? Be there on Sunday, April 22nd, 12 noon, in front of the Iranian mission to the UN at 622 3rd Avenue and East 40th Street in Manhattan. Be there, rain or shine.
At Sushi Moto, located at 1724 Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn, you'll find delicious and fresh sushi made according to Japanese tradition. Fresh sushi rolled while you wait. Make sure you try the omakase, the chef's choice. The chef will ask you if you like your sushi spicy or not cooked, fish or no fish, and he'll surprise you. Whether you want some vegetable rolls, some fish rolls, something exotic, or something in between, Sushi Moto will customize your sushi roll for your delicate taste buds. They have a whole variety of Japanese cuisine to choose from, including a full menu of hot and cold appetizers, salads, soups, entrees, desserts, and of course one of the best sushi experiences, if not the best one you've ever had. You have to taste it and see it to believe it. Sushi Moto is a full-service restaurant serving hot and cold sake and beer upon request. They have waiter service and hot towels available, and a kosher parv under the okay with a mashgiach tamidi, always on premises. So visit them today for a sushi bite worth taking. 1724 Coney Island Avenue in Flatbush, or call them 718-701-4144. 718-701-4144, or visit them online at sushimoto.com. That's sushimoto.com. They're open Sunday through Thursday, 12 to 12. Fridays open from 11 until 2 hours before Shabbos, and open 90 minutes after Shabbos until 1 a.m. Join them for a memorable kosher Japanese dining experience.
Are you moving and can't take it with you, or you have too much stuff in your home or office? Then take it to Secure Self Storage in Coney Island, Brooklyn. At Secure Self Storage, you'll find the lowest prices in town, a clean, modern facility with climate-controlled units, a manager on site, and much, much more. With units available for as little as $39 a month, plus 1 month's free rent, and a free truck to move your stuff into secure self-storage, it's a no-brainer. We're here to help you. 24-hour access is available upon request, and we're open daily and Sunday and are easily accessible from anywhere in the tri-state area. With prices this low, it doesn't pay to keep clutter in your home or office. Secure Self-Storage is located at 2829 West 21st Street in Brooklyn. For your free month and more information, call 718-266-2600 today. That's 718-266-2600. Secure Self-Storage. When you have no more space in your house, you always have plenty of room with us. Say goodbye to clutter and hello to Secure Self-Storage.
Hi, this is Rabbi Mati Katz introducing you to our new program, Out of the Box. It will cover timely issues and stimulating discussions for the Jewish community at large. It will be a most exciting program that will feature interesting guests and topics. So come, listen to our program at 7:30 Monday evening on Talkline, WSNR 620 AM. So come join us on the radio. It'll be something very special for you. Thanks.
You're listening to Talkline over WMCA 570 AM Big Apple, Metro New York, and don't forget also on Al Gordon 1640 AM in Highland Park. Online anytime, TalklineCommunications.com. And don't forget, by the way, the Talkline with Zev Brenner television program on Sundays, actually tonight at midnight on WNBC Digital Channel 4.2, Cablevision 109, Time Warner 161, Fios 460, RCN 28. Tonight we pay tribute to Yeshiva Kerem B'Yavne, and we're also on JLTV on Saturday nights at 2 a.m., Sundays 11 a.m. and 1 a.m., DirecTV Channel 366, Time Warner Channel 120, and you can also watch us on YouTube. Our final stretch, we're looking at the Facebook, the Internet. We're facing off David Talbom on the line, Chana Mushka-Olevsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaya Mushka Bar Chaim, Cheve Krasnowski, live in our studio, taking as many calls as we can. Please try to be brief and to the point. Let's go to Mushki in Crown Heights. You're on the air with our guest. Go ahead, please. Mushki, are you there?
Yes, hi, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, hi. So my name is Mushki. I went to Beis Rivka, and I recently heard about this whole Facebook thing, and I just want to say that I believe 100% it's all about sneers. It's about the school afraid that the girls will meet up with guys and do things that they shouldn't, but they don't realize by banning Facebook, this is not going to, it's not going to help the situation at all. I believe the whole guidance of a lot of Lubavitch Meisters, unfortunately, is very backwards. Instead of saying you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that, and the kid is going to do it anyway, they should, show them things like in a positive light, like why, it's important to be sneers and why they should stay away from boys and stuff like that.
But is it a sneers issue, a modesty issue? Because I get the impression from the prince we said it wasn't.
It has nothing to do with sneers, nothing.
They're afraid you're going to be socializing with the boys?
It's 100%
you don't need Facebook to interact with boys. If you're going to socialize with them, you'll find a way to do it. You can text them, you can call them, you can meet them on the street corner. It has nothing to do with Facebook. I think they know that. It's nothing to do with sneers or modesty.
If
you're on Facebook, then you will have an easier way to get in touch with
guys. I believe these girls are puppets for Beis Rivka. I mean, I understand them. They're still in school, but give them a few years down the line. I'm sure they'll be, they'll be...
I take that personally. I'm very insulted. I'm not a puppet for anybody. I'm saying my opinion. If you don't like it, you can disagree, but don't insinuate that I'm merely saying another person's words.
I'm listening to you here, and my siblings are cracking up because you guys sound
like... I'm glad we're entertaining you.
You guys sound like you're, just trying to keep a good reputation and,
And like I said before, we did not want our names on this. We didn't want to come on at all. We were asked by Zev to come on. We came on and did it as a favor to him. We didn't want our names on this. We didn't want to do it. We're not saying anything for anybody. We're saying it exactly like we see, and that's how we see it.
But, they're comfortable in taking this position, and that's what they hear on the broadcast, so they can't...
I understand, but think about it for a second.
Let David interject. Go ahead, David.
Okay. Zev, I just sent you something on Facebook. Are you by a computer?
Yes, I'm by a computer. Send me.
We like it.
You send it via Facebook?
Okay, because this is a reporter that went down to the school and interviewed some girls anonymously, and I'd like you to read it if you could. If not, I'll read it on the radio.
Okay, one.
Can I say something?
Go right ahead.
Okay, think about it for a second. If it's not a SNEAS issue, then if the girls in moderation, in their own time at home or whenever on, times they have off from school are chatting with their friends or on Facebook putting pictures, what would be such an issue? Why would they ban it? It's obviously a SNEAS issue. I mean, it's common sense.
Okay. I appreciate your point, and I think I thought it was a SNEAS issue, but I've been talking to people in Chabad, and they insist that it's not a SNEAS issue, just a general educational issue. I hear where you're coming from. I hear where they're coming from. So we're presenting all sides, and I think you raised some very interesting points in your phone call.
I mean, personally, Facebook is pretty boring, I think. That's a side point, and it is a waste of time. I do agree with that 100%. But where I disagree is if it's a SNEAS issue, it's a very wrong way to go about it. It's not going to help anything. If anything, it's just going to make people go dafka, against and make fake accounts and like David said, pretend to be boys or whatever. I just want to say that whoever's listening from the Meisteis and the people, who the teachers and whatever that deal with the chinuch, that they should stop saying you can't do this, you can't do that, and you'll get kicked out, you get suspended. They should bring things in a positive way, like, encourage a girl to do the right thing. That is always, I felt like, from a former student of Beis Rivka, that's where they go wrong. They should do things more in a positive way.
So hold on, before I let you go, so you're for they using Facebook and not for them using Facebook, your position?
I don't think it matters either way. I don't have anything against Facebook. I'm just saying it's a waste of time in general.
Okay, I appreciate your phone call. Thank you for your call. Thank you for calling in.
I appreciate that. Here's a quick email question, Deborah. I want to squeeze in a couple more calls. Internet is very useful for business, education, and research, but why do people think they need a Facebook account? It's only socializing, and that's not appropriate. There is no need to educate kids about Facebook because they'll never need to have it. We didn't educate our kids how to find appropriate channels on TV. We just don't use it at all. Zev Brenner's Facebook account is a fan page for business use, not a friends page for socializing.
And Chabad uses Facebook.
Are they saying socializing isn't a good thing or good thing?
That's what the letter writer seems to indicate.
That it's a bad thing to socialize?
That's what they came across. Yes, that's the way the email is written.
I just don't agree with that completely.
After we graduate, I know a lot of people are going to be working for Chabad House Shluchim, and Facebook is a very useful tool for keeping, for spreading.
So you're going to use Facebook after you finish. So you will use Facebook, is what you're saying at some point in the future.
Maybe there's a time and place for everything, and Chabad houses use it for advertising programs for,
No, Facebook. Chabad is a very big user of the Internet. Of all the Hasidic groups, they're the most prolific in utilizing the Internet. In fact, I might add even television. Chabad, when the Lubavitcher Rebbe did the Farbrengens, it was televised on satellite TV around the world. Hanukkah Live. They're big in using modern technology. Okay, let's take Chaim in Lakewood. Chaim in Lakewood, your quick question or comment. We're almost out of time. Chaim in Lakewood, go ahead, please. Yes, Chaim, are you there? Yes, Chaim.
Yes, I'm a mentor, and actually I'm a part-time mentor from Bochum, and I have an ad network, and which is fully integrated with all levels of social network. So you're quite familiar. So, first of all, Zev, I want to commend you for giving everyone a platform, and all the girls. You're very well spoken. I'm not giving you any solution to the internet, but I do have access to, on a personal level, to many Bochum's passwords, which they trust me, and I'm non-partial, and I do coach them part-time. Most of the boys befriend a friend's cousin, whether it's a girl, and yes, you're right, that it could be used, and it should be used in moderation, but the fact is that to tell a boy what moderation is very hard.
But you have to teach them. Now, we had on a Hasidic Rebbe from England who said also the point is not banning, it's teaching moderation, how to use all these tools. Yes, we're more challenging today because we have more at our disposal, more distractions, the iPads, the iPods, the cell phones, the computers, it's all there. And the question and challenge for our generation is how to moderate and use it properly.
Right.
That's our challenge.
So that ultimately, exactly. So that ultimately is a silver bullet. And when you have the solution, I'm sure that any Rav in the world, that Torah would be willing to listen to you. I did read your article. It was very well written on your blog, but I have to disagree with you on one point, that we all tried to keep our doors closed all the years, not let the wind of the street come into our houses.
Okay, you're making a very good point. But I want to tell you something. You're from Lakewood, right? So I posted this article.
I live in Lakewood. I work in New York.
Right. And you seem like a guy that really cares. I just want to let you know something. My blog went viral, which means that it went all over the place and everybody looked at it. Now, if you own a blog, you could actually get statistics of where people are coming from to read your post, your letter. I think I got more hits from Lakewood, New Jersey than there are people in Lakewood, New Jersey that read my thing. Now, I know in Lakewood you're not allowed to have internet, or you're only supposed to be using it for work, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, let's not be self-deprecating. You're definitely right.
Nobody's listening.
You're definitely right.
Nobody's listening to that, so then what's the point of all these things?
Let me tell you something.
Hold on, one at a time. So what you're saying, David, they're not listening anyway. It's a gazera that nobody can listen to, so therefore we have to take a different approach. That's what the gist of your article is.
He's right. Zev, he's right. David, you are right. But throughout the years, there was Messianic in Kal Yisrael. 80 years ago, 100 years ago, and this terrible refrain that we have now, which is the internet, which we could be used. Right now, there's no solution. There is no solid solution.
Sure.
I appreciate your phone. We're running out of time, and I have to squeeze in one or two more, but thank you to make a really valid point. I want to read an email question. Facebook for teenagers is an addiction that only gets stronger as she gets older into marriageable age. It's proven time and again that marriages are being destroyed as well as other relationships. Hold on. Let me read the question. Hold on. Let me finish the question. Rabbanim will tell you that they're being called weekly about children that are on Facebook on Shabbos Kodesh. This can happen while give the teenagers constructive things to do so they're not busy with Facebook. Now you can respond.
Okay, can I respond to that? It's very simple. Let me explain you what happens in a closed-minded society, okay? So there's a kid, he's growing up, and because of certain reasons, he's not happy, he's not happy in school, he's not fitting in, whatever issue kids might have. I listed a bunch of them in my article. They're just not happy about Yiddishkeit. And then they get a hold of a cell phone, they get a hold of anything, a device, and the parent doesn't understand why the kid's going off. She doesn't understand because she's also very sheltered. And she comes to the rabbi because that's the way it goes. 1 second, please. She comes to the rabbi, a rabbi that really cares and is really concerned. And she doesn't tell the rabbi, oh, my kid's unhappy because of this reason or that reason, or because he's just not happy with Yiddishkeit or hasn't found himself or anything like that. She says, he has a cell phone, he has the internet. And the rabbi, who has no idea what internet is, they don't know. It's not their fault. They have no idea what these things are. That's why at the Brita Convention, all they did was sell our biggest problem today in Klal Yisrael is technology, is internet, is cell phones, because that's what they're being told by a parent who doesn't want to blame herself, and no one wants to blame the school, and you shouldn't blame anyone or anything. But if a kid's unhappy, that's usually the reason why they're going off, not because a kid got a cell phone or has Facebook.
No, I appreciate it. I'm going to have to be succinct.
It's an easy target to blame.
Okay, very good point. I wanted, we're going to take one more call. Hannah Mushka, you had a comment, and then we're going to take a phone call. Okay, so let's take one or two more calls before it goes out right now. Okay, let's go to Crown Heights, and you're on the air with our guests. Go ahead, please. Your question or comment?
Yeah,
that's Baruch from Crown Heights. Go ahead, Baruch.
Yes, my point is a lot of times you have an illusion of privacy when it simply doesn't exist. For example, they just reset all the Facebook settings a couple years ago. And all the people that set the settings to be privatized, all of a sudden Facebook reset it to the default, more public setting.
Okay, so your point is that so the point that you want to make is?
My point I want to make is that your guest, Rabbi Teitelbaum,
David Teitelbaum, not a rabbi.
Okay, David Teitelbaum. That is David Teitelbaum's point that you could privatize online, besides for the fact that there are savvy people that know how to get around privacy, for example, hackers and so on and so forth.
Well, they can bring it to your house, but I'm going to. You raised the point. I'm going to read an email. Thank you for your call. That's going to buttress what you're saying. Here's an anonymous computer technician, software engineer, writes to us, Facebook is not private. If your friend puts a picture of you, tags you, then everyone, his or her friends, can see that picture. When someone who is your private
friend...
Hold on, let me finish the question, please. When someone who is your private friend comments on something you posted, everyone who is their friend can see your post. Again, nothing is private, unlike what one of the girls on your pro show mentioned in regards to Google Groups where it is private. Now you can speak, David.
It's not correct. You can make a private group. That I'll show you how. You can make a private group when nobody could see anything that's in that private group besides the friends and your thing. I have it set up for the Stay Hermit girls. If you put a picture into that private group, nobody else could see it. If you comment on a picture in that private group, nobody else could see it. If you like a picture, nobody else could see it. It depends on the settings. A friend of mine in my neighborhood, his name is Gil Student, he's a big Talmud Chacham. He's
Facebook is not about privacy or public use. It's about wasting time or not. It's about where your head is. If that's your
focusing on the right things during your school years.
But if that's the case, then a lot of the other the texting should be banned. If that's the case, because how much time? Let me ask you a practical question. Those are not on Facebook. Hannah Mushka, let me ask you: do you text?
Yeah.
You do a lot of texting. How much texting do you do on an average day?
I don't know how many messages I send, but I do a lot.
I'll do a lot. Okay, so if it's not on Facebook, so you found an alternative. So you're doing texting. So
They're allowed the internet. They could sit on the internet all day. You know how addictive the internet is? I mean, why isn't Facebook different?
But, when I'm finished checking all my blogs, there's nothing else to look at. I mean, on Facebook, someone's always updating.
There's nothing to watch. There's nothing to look at the internet. You could go from one site to the next site, from one YouTube video to the next. You could sit there for weeks on end. That's how addictive it is if you don't learn moderation.
Which is why they strongly, advise us and give us guidelines.
On texting, they tell you about texting.
We've talked about texting, definitely, yes.
Definitely, yes. About boundaries in texting.
Who should you text? How long? Conversations.
We're definitely taught about that.
Okay,
But you're not taught about Facebook.
We are taught about it as well, how to use that responsibly. Now, if it makes you how to use Facebook responsibly.
Why are they teaching you about Facebook if they're telling you not how to have it?
Well, while we're in school, they definitely don't want us to be at it. But we're not going to be in school forever. It's only 4 years long. Once we're
out, the rule of the school is even outside the school,
the rule is that when you're a student, in the school, you may not have Facebook even outside of school hours. That applies only while you're a student in the school. As soon as you graduate, you can do whatever you want. And I think the point is that they want you to. There's a time and place for everything. They want you while you're in school to focus on being.
I want to get back to closing statements. I'm just going to read one quick email, and we're going to close out. One of the news blogs are reporting that the girls were chatting on Facebook with boys in private direct messages. It is known that Facebook is a common place where boys can become friends with girls. So the ban on Facebook is to prevent that. Isn't this the case in the Beis Rivka school?
Not about boys. Not about boys at all. Nothing about boys. It just, if you're not on Facebook, the fringe benefit is that you will not have as much opportunity to meet with boys. But if you're going to be a girl who wants to hang out with boys, you'll find a way to do it whether you're on Facebook or not. I think the point is, don't spend time on Facebook while you're in school. Focus on your schoolwork. Focus on developing yourself. Oh, I'm talking too loud. Focus on developing yourself as a human being, as a student, as a Bas Chabad, as a Torah girl, as focus on developing yourself so that when you leave school and you are in the real world, you are equipped and you have the tools to use Facebook after you've graduated. We know many Chabad houses use it, and it's powerful for them. It's a powerful marketing tool, powerful to keep in touch with their people, to promote their own events. So while you're in school, develop yourself so that when you leave school, you are equipped and you have the right tools to make safe decisions with the internet.
David Talbot, I want to thank you for joining us. Any closing thoughts?
Yes. I think, we really agree on a lot of things. At the end of the day, we all agree that we should be taught about everything, and we should use everything in moderation, and the point is, of course, people are going to use it anyways. The article I sent you that you didn't get a chance to read.
Where's the article posted? Is that on Vos's Nice where people can read
it's on Baltimore Jewish Life. It's written by somebody from the Algameda that went down to the school and spoke to the girls and spoke to them anonymously. They all said they want to be, anonymous, whatever. And basically, you asked them, and all the girls said that, oh yeah, the school said that, and of course we're going to use it anyways. Again, I don't want to. That's ridiculous for me to say if it's true or not true. It doesn't make a difference. But from my interaction with teenagers out there, you had some mothers call that said, my kids don't use the internet. I get so many calls from parents from my campers that say, oh yeah, my kids don't use the internet. They don't have email, nothing. I want to tell them, do you know that I'm friends with your kid on Facebook? He's one of my friends. Of course I don't do it because such a mother is obviously completely closed and she would never understand it or get into that. But the truth is that the kids are on it, and they are using it, whether their real name's another name or whatever it might be. And there should be some guidance in teaching kids about privacy. I mean, you see the people that call, they're making mistakes about privacy controls, because there are privacy controls on Facebook, and these should be taught to the kids. And yes, kids could put up stupid things, and they shouldn't. They should be told what's okay, what's not okay.
David, I appreciate you made some good points. I appreciate you bringing. I'm sure this conversation is going to continue. We're just out of time. So thank you for being part of our broadcast tonight.
Sure, thank you. And I hope if I could bring girls another time that are anonymous, that could say, like, what they really feel and what it's like, what the experience is like on Facebook and what they feel about it.
But Douglas, the question is, and I hear you about being anonymous, but the question is when you put them on the air, there's going to be people who recognize them. It's in the Jewish world. It's very hard to be.
I have a voice. I have a voice changer, and plus they'll be from different schools, not from their school. They'll be from other base jobs.
Okay, we have no problem to broaden this conversation, and I'm happy to do that. I think we had a lot of response, a lot of calls, a lot of email. We couldn't get to everybody tonight, but thank you for participating in our broadcast. And
they seem like lovely girls, and thank you so much for the time.
I'm impressed by them.
Nice talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you. And any young ladies want to give a closing statement? Any thoughts? I guess. Yeah. Okay. Chaim Mushka Bar Chaim.
Yeah, I had a Facebook account. Of course, it was disappointing to have to shut it down. At the end of the day, we understand where our school's coming from.
And you're going back to Facebook after you graduate, right?
I should be, yeah.
Okay. So this is just a temporary reprieve for you.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that, and I'll live. And it's, I think it's cool. It's a cool experiment to see what my life will be like without Facebook.
I'm glad that I go
and
to
that's
school.
Mushka Bogomilsky, okay?
I'm glad I go to a school that cares enough about me to want me to develop as a human being, that they're concerned to the point, what am I doing after my school?
But you've never been on Facebook, even before the ban, right?
I mean, I've...
But were you a Facebook...
like 2 weeks.
No, like,
Did you have a Facebook account, or you just went to visit Facebook as opposed to... You didn't have your Facebook name on it?
I'm definitely familiar with Facebook.
Okay.
I'm not a novice or anything. And
do you see yourself down the road using Facebook? Do you see yourself when you graduate using Facebook?
Were you talking to me?
Yeah.
I think
as a tool.
I really do feel like I'm always a safe internet user, but I really do feel that the school has really given me the tools and the lesson what they've told us about, and really taught me how to use it after school, maybe after seminary. Yes, to keep in touch with friends, maybe, but I will definitely be a safe user. And
that's important.
And about what you said before, what David said before about having to be in touch with friends, one of the best ways to keep in touch with friends, and we learned this when we were in camp, my friend Chana Mushka here, she made friends with someone from Montreal, and she's still in touch with her. And you know why? Because they made up that every week they're going to learn together. Now, that's a positive way to keep in touch with your friends.
It certainly is, but I think what David was referring to, you keeping in touch with multiple friends at one time.
And anyone who's important enough to you, you will not have a problem having a real relationship with them.
Okay, Chana Mushka, Lefty, you'll have the final word. Go ahead. Let's put the microphone a little bit. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to say that as Chabad people, there's a time and place for everything. Now we're going to be following a school rule, but after we graduate and move on in life, we're going to probably use the internet and Facebook for good things,
because of the education we're given in school, because we know we were cared for enough that we can make the proper decisions based on that they've taught us.
Just use technology for the good.
Anyway, I want to thank you, David Talon. Thank you, Chana Mushka Levsky, Mushka Bogomilsky, Chaim Mushka Bar Chaim for being part of our broadcast. Thank you. Our pleasure. We're sure this conversation will continue. Don't forget to tune us in weeknights from 8 to 9 p.m. Among our guests this week, a couple who were hijacked by Palestinian terrorists in 1970. Rav Hutner was on that flight. We'll have their story one night this week between 8 and 9, WSNR 620 a.m. Don't forget later today, the Talk Line with Zev Brenner television broadcast on WNBC Digital Channel 4.2 tonight, 12 midnight, Cablevision 109, Time Warner 161, Fios 460, Comcast 248. That's tonight, a tribute to Karen B'Yavne Yeshiva. And if you have JLTV nationwide, you'll also see us Direct TV Channel 366 and Time Warner Channel 120. Saturday nights at 2 a.m., Sundays at 11 a.m. and at 1 a.m. For more information about our program, please contact us at info@talklinecommunications.com. If you use Facebook, you can Become a friend of Talkline with Zev Brenner on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Google+, and on Twitter. Give us a tweet at Talkline Network. Stay tuned next for Mashiach in the Air with Rav Shmuel Butman. Okay, that's a shout-out for Rav Shmuel Butman. Does a wonderful program. Thank you. And Shavua Tov, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to Talkline, America's #1 Jewish program with Zev Brenner. For more information on Talkline's full range of radio and television programs, please write P.O. Box 20108, Park West Station, New York, New York 125, or call 212-769-1925. The Talkline Communications Network.